Welcome to another cycle of Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions, a family podcast created for the next generation. Grandma Smarge can't wait to see what you'll become, Monk and Little Al. Live, pre-recorded from our family laundry room with Smarge, Haas, and sometimes Otter, and always not the real guest. Here we hang it on the line with everyday ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. In the room where famous people are loved, adored, and admired, however, not invited. Except for the great Willie Nelson, of course. Thanks for joining us in the laundry room while we fold through life's journeys. Here, we're keeping it real, washing through stains, and making colors a little bit brighter. Pre-recorded.
We're back
from the lower level laundry area of the home.
Studio 2.0.
Yeah.
And she is spacious.
She
so much
all
room
the way over there.
I know. I can barely even touch you over there.
I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, we're so far. So far away. How are we supposed to hand each other joints and drinks and stuff?
Yeah, it makes it, challenging, but
yeah.
We even had to order longer cables.
I know. It's but so hard. Our lives.
Not a terrible problem. That sounded like I was complaining. I'm not. But I was like, there is more room.
Am I not doing my laundry thoroughly enough? Am I stinky?
We just put you down the lower level laundry.
You get the lower level. That's where all our stinky guests
go. It sounds
go.
terrible, doesn't it? But I don't know what else to call it.
It's so much nicer. Not nicer. It's just different.
It's quieter.
It's a lot quieter.
Yeah.
We can have a lot more guests. I love the furniture. I love what you've done with it.
It's fun.
It's perfect.
It's fun.
Well, yeah. And we still have our green room for our guests who are sad that we're moving down.
We're calling it the bubble room.
Yeah.
And that's our NTRG's now, their new little green room.
Yeah. In our first studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can go get all comfortable, have some hors d'oeuvres, some drinks.
A joint.
Yeah.
A bong.
Get ready. Get limber.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Up there. What the party of your choice is up there.
Yeah. So how's your laundry situation going? How you been?
Well, Poppy was traveling and brought back COVID.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So I'm glad we can laugh about it and smile about it now. I mean, it was terrible. And what was that, 2020?
Oh, God, I know.
But here's the thing. People still don't want to be around you.
No.
I mean, you can test all you want, but they're like, I don't want to be around you.
Very contagious, and it sucks. So that's all. Did you not get it?
Oh, good. And I tested 3 times to where I'm like, okay, I put it through. I didn't get it. I'm very thankful. So I'm very caught up on my laundry.
Good.
And very caught up on my documentaries on Netflix.
Oh, good.
Thank God for. I don't know. Hey, Monk and Little Al, I don't know if you'll have something called Netflix in 30 years, but I hope you do.
Yeah, because it's a blessing.
It's awesome.
And it really was during the pandemic. We were talking about that the other day. It was a lifesaver when the whole world shut down and we could just be in our homes, and we had Tiger King to get us through.
Yeah.
What if we started a podcast then? That would have been fun.
We should have.
That would have been fun.
What were we doing? Oh, we were doing the antique stuff. We were doing stuff.
We just weren't quite yet to the podcast.
Yeah, we weren't to the podcast idea yet.
Yeah.
Which, there was a song, my favorite pandemic song, I just heard it the other day, is Uncle Cracker's. What is it called? It's like... I didn't know. Time to be sober. Oh God, I love Uncle Cracker.
I do too, but I haven't heard a new Uncle Cracker song.
He just released 2024. They came out with a new album. Now I don't know if they're all new songs.
Okay.
And he's going to be at Empower Field.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes.
Should we go?
I kind of want to go.
Why not? I could do some Uncle Cracker.
I've said that that's all I've been listening to lately is watching these documentaries on Netflix and then listening to Uncle Cracker. So
what are some of these new documentaries you've been listening to?
I watched this one that, the typical kind of like what you hear about corporations and stuff. I think I started out with Bernie Madoff, and he was the guy that took all the money from all these people's investments, and it was just terrible.
Oh, Oh, yeah, I think I heard about that.
This kind of greed is like in a corporation or in an association, and it's FIFA or FIFA. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
And it's the soccer organization for the World Cup. And I didn't realize, I mean, I knew soccer was the number one sport in the world.
Right.
I understood that. But I didn't realize how big it was until I watched this documentary.
It really is, like, worldwide.
Yeah. I was more like bemused by that, watching the documentary and all those, than I was about this guy and he is no longer president. So
Yeah.
it didn't seem like a very nice guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
not.
Because I wasn't really paying attention to that part of the documentary.
Well, you know who could probably fill us in on some more details about that?
Who is our guest?
We actually have our very last NTRG of season 3 with us today,
Following your passion.
Mr. T. Welcome back, Mr. T, for your first official podcast.
Back, Mr. Talent, Mr. T. We are so glad to have you in the studio. You've been in the studio before with the talent you bring in.
You had to represent your talent.
Thank you.
They don't say anything crazy, or we don't say anything crazy, so we appreciate that.
It's a tough job.
It is.
You're persevering, and here you are. And
Glad to be here.
I knew that soccer was a big deal in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard a little bit of your story, and I thought that's really cool. But then I didn't realize that you played in Barcelona. I had no idea.
Yep.
I didn't know.
As a semi-professional soccer player, that's amazing.
And Monk and Little Al, this is your Uncle T.
Uncle T.
Talent.
Uncle Talent, Uncle T. Yeah, we're working on the name, but here he is. And thank you. And
Thanks.
this is great. Here
Feel
you
good.
are. You're going to tell us your story.
I like the new place.
Yeah.
Couch is comfortable.
Thank you.
I'm happy.
Because you've been with us from the beginning.
Yeah,
you were
crammed into
actually
that laundry room.
one of the first people that actually gave us, I think, the idea to start recording in the laundry room.
Yeah, you and Aaron, not the real Aaron.
Yeah.
It was you guys that were like really...
Sneaking off during parties into the laundry room to do your little whispering and secret telling, and then we were like, hey, this room is pretty soundproof. Maybe we should...
let's just broadcast it and tape it and keep it.
Great idea. But Mr. T, tell us all about how you even got involved in the beautiful game of soccer.
Which is the number one sport in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when you talk about that because it's pretty much been in my blood. So my dad is from North Africa, and his grandpa, or my grandpa, his dad was a pro soccer player there.
No way.
Wait, oh,
Yeah.
really?
That's
So he was a pro soccer player. Then my dad...
What part of Africa? Sorry.
Libya.
Okay.
Libya? Okay.
Yeah. Not a great place to go if you're an American.
Yeah,
I'm not allowed there, so. But then when my dad came to college here, he went to Indiana University, and he actually got drafted to play soccer in like an indoor league, but they made like $10,000 a year. And he's like, I'm just going to go get a real job.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, he did that adult sensible thing.
yeah.
Couldn't follow his passion there.
Yeah.
That'd be a tough earning.
Yeah, so it's in my blood, but it's also thinking about like it being worldwide. I always just felt lucky to play because my dad would always tell me, oh, in Africa, like we played with socks and newspapers, and we just put it into a ball and just play in the dirt street.
What?
And that's part of the reason why it's so popular, though, is because it's so easy to play. Like you just need a ball.
You can play
and
it
that's
anywhere.
Yeah.
Or you need socks with newspapers. So like when we were going to soccer practice and stuff, he's like, oh, you have grass fields? Like we played in dirt.
Must
Like,
be
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing,
Just every
though.
time. And I'm
Because-
just like, felt lucky to do it.
Yeah.
And it is amazing if you look at it that way. And what a great story for your dad to share with you.
Yeah.
You know, to bring that.
Yeah. When they would get a soccer ball, they would play with it till it broke, and then they would go back to their socks and newspapers.
Until they could get
They
it.
Yeah,
just
so
loved,
they-
they loved
Yeah.
the sport.
Yeah.
It didn't
They'd
stop
just play
the game.
6 hours a day.
So did he teach you how to play then when you were itty bitty?
Yeah, so I mean,
Do you
I don't remember
remember?
a time when I didn't like have a soccer ball or anything.
So it's the opposite. You don't remember a time when it wasn't there because it was always in your life.
Yep. So my dad was
Very
my
cool.
coach when I was little, from the time I was like 3 to 9. So he taught me soccer, but my mom taught me my favorite move, and I still do it to this day, using my back heel. She taught me that when I was like 3 years old. I think she thought she made it up. And I was like, it's actually a real soccer move, but it's a good thing to learn at like 4 or 5 years.
It's a good skill.
Yeah.
And what a great thing to say. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, so we were in Wash Park, and she taught me that. And still do it to this day. And when my brother sees me do it, he's like, don't back heel. Like, there's easier ways to do it. I'm like, nope, back heel.
Mom taught me how to do
Mom
this.
taught me the back heel. I'm doing it every chance I get.
And your mom was actually on the podcast season 2 for our listeners who remember.
Seventh generation.
Yeah.
My brother was also on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, and your brother. Yeah. Your whole family now.
Family.
Finally, we got you to commit. We're excited that you're here.
Yeah, so, but I don't remember time
And they were
without
doing
soccer.
this for you, Monk and Little Owl. No guilt there or anything.
Yeah,
but
no guilt
had to
at
throw
all.
Had to throw that in. They are doing this for you guys.
And so you played, obviously, all through your life. You played through high school. You didn't play in college, though, right?
So, soccer's probably saved my life a couple times, but it was also kind of a source of pain for a little bit. So when I got to high school, my dad dipped out. And so I didn't play soccer for 2 or 3 years. I'm not a psychologist, but probably was angry at him.
Yeah,
I think there might be a connection there.
Just guessing.
We're with you. We understand.
Yeah, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But so I didn't play from the time I was like 13 to 7 or maybe 14 to 17.
Would you say, sir, this is when you got in a lot of trouble?
Yes.
Okay.
Trouble.
Yeah.
And so before that, I'd played on like the top clubs in Colorado, the best teams. Like I'd played soccer all the time.
Right.
And then I quit. And when I was about 17, making bad decisions, I was just like, I should probably turn my life around. And one of the things I decided to do is start playing soccer again.
Yeah.
And
How long did it take you then? So how long were you away from it? You were away from it for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And how long did it take for it just to come back in and be like that habit? Like or that?
I was so fucking bad the first time I played.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It was embarrassing. And so
But
called.
it made you keep going.
Yeah.
I mean,
so my mom called Rush, which is like the top club in Colorado.
Right, yeah.
And I used to play for them. And she was like, oh, Sammy wants to come play. And they're like, yep, Sammy can come back. He can play.
100%.
And so I was like, they're like, we're going to put him on the B team till he like proves himself again. And I was like, that's fine. So I shoved to the B team. And like, these are people that have been playing 17 years, like very good at soccer.
Right.
And I'm like tripping over the ball. And they're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, how did he get on the
what
team?
are you bringing to the table,
Yeah.
dude?
So no, it was frustrating at first because it was something that was so natural to me growing up. And like, I just loved scoring goals and I like couldn't do the things that I was used to doing.
Yeah.
Another thing my mom
That's
taught
why I
me.
wondered. I did wonder, like, how long?
Yeah.
To be away from
it took me a while.
Because everybody else kept with it. So
Yeah.
I assume their skills are improving.
Yeah, they were
And
much
you-
better
right.
and I was
That's
tripping.
Yeah.
So this also sucked. So I think this person was trying to be nice, but he called the coach for Metro and he was like, oh, Sammy's going to start playing soccer again. Like you should go scout him and see him. And so the coach shows up to my first game back. So I've been practicing for like 2 weeks. And he's like, oh, I'll be at State Cup. I'll go over there. And so like,
So just sprinkled a little stress on top of
Yeah.
stress,
Oh, God.
on top of stress and failure that you're feeling at the moment.
Yeah, so the Metro coach showed up and like he has like his scouts with him and stuff. And so they're not allowed to talk to you when they're like recruiting you during a game. And so they went to my teammates and they're like, oh, what number is Sammy? And they're like, oh, he's number 11 or whatever I was. And they're like, oh, the coach is here scouting you. But in the back of their head, they're probably like, why the fuck is this dude getting scouted?
Yeah.
Like, he's terrible. And I played the worst game I've ever played in my life. And just got like an email from him. And he was just like, yeah, we're looking for like
A little bit
Something
more talent.
else.
yeah.
We're looking for a little bit more tea.
Just like maybe a soccer player.
You got a little less tea than we remember.
Yeah. And Metro was national champions the year before. So they have a very good soccer program. Like,
Right.
it's not like just like, it's.
They weren't
like a
desperate.
premier- Yeah, there's like a
it
premier.
wasn't going to fly.
Yeah,
You
so-
didn't make.
So I didn't
Sorry,
make
you did not make the cut there.
Well,
I did not.
If I know anything about you, that probably really pushed you to.
did it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'd never been bad at soccer, so I didn't understand.
You've never been bad at anything.
Hence the name. But I couldn't make sense of it at first because I was just like, this comes so naturally. Oh, I was gonna mention this. My mom taught me this when I was a little kid too. She'd be like, assists are just as good as goals. Like it makes two people happy. I was just like, nah. It's way more fun to score.
Yeah. And I do find that adorable is sitting right here, right in front of me. You're like, I know that she taught me something else. I just can't quite remember what that was.
Yeah.
Oh, teamwork.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Assist.
Oh,
I forgot what that word was.
Oh my gosh.
She'd always be like,
what a great
I'd
story.
be like, I scored 3 goals today. And she's like, how many assists did you get? And I'm just like, I don't know, 2. I don't care. Like goals. And she'd be like, nope. So
That is a
nice.
good lesson
Yeah.
to learn. But yeah, you were driven by just the thrill of making those goals and
Yeah.
making it happen.
You know, my youngest was in soccer and she played for Rush as well.
So did I, actually.
And yes, Little Monk, this is your mom we're talking about. And I remember kind of starting to panic, not really because of the money of it, although it's very costly, but also the competitiveness and how the parents were.
Oh, yeah.
And that is actually why she said, we walked past this mom just saying terrible things to her daughter. And in my head, I was like, oh, man, there's no way. Stop. Like I wanted to stop the lady because you can only say so much before you can't take so much back. Right.
Right.
And this is only over a game. I understand it's the world's favorite game. However, anyway, she turned to me and said, this will be my last season.
Oh, gosh. She couldn't handle it.
Party went off in my head in a way, but I did want her to like keep it up. Like, is there a rec side to this or recreational, which we'll get to later. I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
But does it always have to be these big clubs that are so competitive?
Definitely when you get older, it gets way more competitive. I'm sure
but don't you think
Mr.
if you
T can
start,
say.
like if you start, and that was the other thing I was going to say, I guess if you start in these clubs, because some of these clubs you can start really young, like 7, 8, 9.
Like 5.
And you grow up in that type of, I guess it's okay. I don't know.
I think
what
the
was your
first
experience?
Club I joined, I was 3 years old, but it wasn't like stressful at all. I would just like run around. My dad coached this team.
Oh, nice.
So
you
like,
had
it was like a co-ed and like
so more of a recreational type
like,
of what I'm thinking. Like go up to Lakewood. Place and,
like I have memories of like my dad like holding hands with the little girls and skipping around because it was just like for fun, like
Right, just
and
silly.
that's how you should do it with kids. It's like you don't want to put like
Pressure on them.
because then they're gonna learn not to like it. So
Right.
it's something that you can just enjoy and have fun, and whatever you're doing, you do. That's kind of where it started, and then. So I played at this club till I was about 8 or 9 years old, and that's when it starts getting more competitive. And it was just like it was like Wash Park soccer club or whatever, like just like a little.
And what age
thing.
is this again?
This is probably from like 3 to 9. And so then when I turned 10, they were like, if like Sammy's really good, he should go play at Rush or one of those big clubs.
Right.
So then I had to go try out, and then I went from there.
I remember the first time I had my first taste of like real competitive nature was because I played soccer my whole life too, but I don't even know how old I was. I was probably like 12, I don't know. And we were at a tournament, and I remember the ball went out, and I went to go get it for the other team. And my coach just let me have it. He was like, do not waste your energy on the other team. Like, I thought I was just being nice. Like, we're all out here having fun, blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't really think much of it. I was just doing them a favor. And my coach was furious. Do not help them with the ball. You get in position.
Would you still help them today? Would you do the same thing?
I mean,
I think you would, wouldn't you?
Probably. But I mean, he was right. Like, you should be preparing for the next play. Like, it's, he wasn't
a whole nother league you weren't in.
Yeah, you're advancing into a whole real game, and I just don't think I was quite ready for the not so fun aspect of it.
Well, my second youngest was in soccer for like a blink of an eye, and she really went to collect like little girls' phone numbers to plan play dates, and she didn't care what team you were on.
Yeah, that's so cute.
She was just out there to network. She was doing networking.
I could see that
I'm like,
in her.
Oh, yeah, she was networking before I even probably knew what networking was actually myself. But she was working it. And then I did though get a phone call from a couple of the moms saying, "Can she please not be on our team next season?"
Oh,
so sad.
Because she was networking. She wasn't focused on the game.
No, not at all. But she was so not focused on the game that did not break her heart.
I'm sure
She's
she
like,
got
"Yeah,
some good
I gave it a
friendships out
go.
of it.
Yeah, I gave it a go. Really wasn't there for the game. I don't need to show up next. Like, it was nothing. I think I thought it would be harder on her than it was.
Well, and then one other quick side note, and then I promise we'll get back to you, Mr.
Oh,
T.
that's right. We do have a
hanging out.
guest.
Did
We
you-
promise we'll let you speak at some
No,
point.
I like hearing these horror stories.
Did you know I played soccer with Otter too when we were younger?
Oh, I did not.
Otter and our other good
Okay.
friend.
Yeah.
We played. Maybe it was only 1, maybe 2 seasons, but yeah, it was fun. We had a few good seasons, I think. But I mean, that was back when it was fun. Still, we were still in elementary school. We were just messing
Nice.
around, and then I'm pretty sure she quit shortly after it
you
started
go
getting
back-
serious.
So at what point did it turn around for you? Or are you still tripping over the ball? Like, how long did it take after you decided, okay, and did you feel like, I'm done with soccer? Did you?
No.
Okay. It was in you.
Yeah, it was in me, but talking about being like a little kid, I remember the first time I scored and it was important. I was like maybe 8 years old, and we're playing like in a final game. It's like one of those all weekend tournaments kind of thing, and the game goes to extra time. So it's first goal wins, and about 5 minutes into this, I get the ball, I score. And like, I'm excited because we win the game, but I turn around and the parents were going crazy. My teammates were like on the ground cheering. And I was just like, this is the greatest
It's day of
feeling
my
in the world.
life.
Yeah, like,
And you
I
remember
wanted
that.
Yeah, and I was like, I want that all the time. So that's when it turned into like, this is like passion. This is what I want to do. If you look at all my stuff from like elementary school, like, oh, what job do you want? I'm like, soccer player.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think about anything else. So going back to that, it probably took me 6 months to just kind of get okay at soccer, and then probably about 1.5 years to catch up to where everybody else was, because I had a huge gap in that.
Right. Yeah.
So I went to school at Metro, and one of my roommates was actually a Metro soccer player. So it kind of went full circle, and we would be playing soccer sometimes, and he'd just be like, you should try out for the Metro team. And I was just like, no, I already got rejected. Like,
No, I don't want to relive that.
I don't want to trip over the ball and just be bad again.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So I just played for like men's teams, and then I transferred to CSU, and I was
Go Rams.
Go Rams. And they have a club team up there. Tried out, made the team. A week before our first game, I tore my hamstring.
Oh,
The back of my hamstring was black and blue all the way, like,
That's a bad thing to tear too.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
And it was something so dumb. I was just like racing a defender in practice because he thought he was fast, and just like had him warmed up, and just, the worst part is I rode my bike there and I had to ride my bike home. And my leg is just like not working.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh.
So
And how old were you?
this was at CSU.
CSU. So
Yeah.
you were
Like 19, 20.
Yeah.
So you're like, I know this is bad.
Yeah.
I know this isn't good.
Yeah. And like I saw the trainers, and they're like, yeah, you're not going to be able to play for a while. And so then I ended up not joining the club team, because club teams you have to pay for. And I wasn't going to pay to be on the team
To
Not play. Yeah.
Good choice. Good. I would salute that.
So to get to play at CSU, why do I like soccer now that I talk about it?
Sounds like it's been a lot
Yeah.
of ups and downs.
No,
Well, it's your passion, right? So you're willing to do the ups and downs with it. Like you
Yeah.
said, you were so upset for other reasons, but the only way that you had control, I think, in your life was I'm quitting soccer for a while. But look, you brought it back. And then after all
For
those
yourself.
failures, you stuck with it because you knew this is in my blood.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's pretty amazing. And that's, I'm assuming, what you mean about how it has saved your life.
Yeah, we'll get to a second story too that gets me why I think this way. But when I think about soccer, it's 90 minutes. Nothing else matters in the world. They're just a ball. You don't think about the rest of life. It's just natural. You're there. You don't, not
Be
one word in
present.
your life. Yeah, you're not
Right.
carried about
So
like.
you're totally immersed.
Yeah, so it's my like greatest escape in my life is
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
a stress reliever.
Yeah, I'm not nervous. I'm not worried about anything. You just get to hang out in the moment and play. And then once the game's over, you can figure
Resume
out
life.
Yeah, figure out
'Cause
all your
if you
bills,
don't-
your problems.
Yeah, life will show up anyway.
Yeah,
but exactly.
But you have those 90 minutes where nothing else in the world matters, and I think it's pretty cool to get a time like that.
Yeah.
It is, and it's cool that you found that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't find that in their lives.
Because
so that's great.
that right there is replacement for a lot of medications people take and therapy a lot of people do. And I know when they're needed. I'm not downing them, but what another great avenue to use for just being a healthy human being.
Yeah. It's just a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the second story.
I was going to say, let's lead into
Now
that.
we were like hanging. We want to know.
All right. So after
we can backtrack.
after CSU, I went to Arizona. Once I graduated, my mom was down there. Moved down with a girlfriend at a time. And so during this whole time, I decided like, oh, I want to go to law school. I was like, be pretty cool. I also have my GED. If a kid that with their GED went to law school, like this would be pretty cool.
Driving for the stuff.
Yeah. So went to Arizona, studying for the LSATs. Been down there probably for 7 months with my girlfriend. Studied my ass off, probably more than I've studied in my whole life. Go to take it in Tucson, and on my way there, I roll my car going 60 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
I fishtailed. So one of the only times it snows in Arizona.
I didn't know this either.
I didn't know this.
You were just full of little surprises tonight. I got to tell you.
So
My heart just dropped.
one of the one times it's ever snowed in Arizona, I'm driving and it's like a 2-lane highway.
They're not equipped to drive, let alone drive if
In the
there's snow.
Yeah, and we're going over this bridge
struggled.
and there's black ice. There's a semi next to me. My car fishtails to go into the semi.
Oh my God.
And like being from Colorado, I was like, don't hit your brakes, just try and steer out of it. So I swerve the other way to not hit the semi, go into the median, and they have these like little cactus plant trees that are probably like 4 feet high, but they're thick.
Yeah.
And so I hit it going 60 sideways, roll my car for probably 300 yards. It was about 5 rolls. And
So was it just one roll? You rolled
it was
down.
boom,
you were
boom,
rolling.
boom.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
That's your skid mark cycle right there.
There
if
you
I've
go.
ever
Well,
heard
there you
one.
go. We got that segment out of the way early.
Yeah.
Now we have to. Oh my
It
God.
blew out all the windows in my Jetta.
Oh my God.
You couldn't open the door. So I got out of the car because I just had so much adrenaline and like forced my way out of it. But after that, it wouldn't open more than like 3 inches.
So you're looking at this going, how did I do this? It's one of those adrenaline phenomenons.
Oh,
my
this is
God.
crazy too. Literally 5 minutes before that, I was like looking at the sky and I was just like, oh, I should put my seatbelt on. Put my seatbelt on.
Stop.
Yeah, I have
Really?
no idea why, because I never wore a seatbelt before that. And I was just like, I'm going to put my seatbelt on and put it on and got in an accident.
God.
Literally.
Mr. T.
That's like when you find a 20 in the fucking dryer. I mean,
No,
that's
that's
way
a
more. But
$100
that's
bill.
1,000, a
Oh
million.
my God.
That's like
That's insane, Mr.
yeah.
T.
We
Holy
have
cow.
boy.
So I
That
get
is
out of the
some
car.
pretty
and
bright
the
whites
family
coming out of that
behind-
laundry. Woo.
Yeah, the family behind me saw the whole thing happen and they like stopped and checked on me. Like, get in the car because it's snowing. So I'm sitting in the car and it's like a family of 4. And I was like, hello, guys. And they're just like, are you okay? And I was like, I
think
so. Like, I don't know.
But shock like you.
So the cops show up and they're like, who is driving this car? And I was like, I was. And they're like, oh, we were looking for a body. And I'm like, found it. Like, I don't know what. Like,
Found
right here.
Oh my.
So then, like, the ambulance comes, they evaluate me, but everything was fine. I had like a little scratch on my head, but other than that, I was fine.
Really? That's
Yeah.
all you had?
So call my girlfriend at the time. She comes, she picks me up, but I missed the LSAT. So that means I can't go to law school
Oh
that
my
next year.
God.
Then the next day, I wake up and I can't move my back because I've rolled a car going 65 times, and it's just like,
And the adrenaline's worn off,
And so
and-
like I couldn't move my back, so I just basically laid on the couch for like a week.
Oh
So
my God.
that week I got fired from my job in Arizona.
As you
my
would,
God.
you know.
Because it was like a call center, so it was like a very important job, and like, oh, you can't come in.
You seem
like,
very upset about it, yeah.
It was a pretty funny job, but like, so I got fired. Then a week later, my me and my girlfriend break up because I got fired from my job. This is why we broke up.
Oh my God.
She called me lazy or something because I didn't go to work. And I was like, I just rolled my car going 60. I was like, I don't think I'm lazy. I just can't
walk.
sit in a chair in a call center.
Did she not notice that we're like, you've been in pain?
Yeah.
Like, well,
yeah,
this is probably
there's
why
like it was building up. There's like a lot of
this
things.
is
That,
why
a lot of other
she's
things,
ex-girlfriend.
but
Yeah,
then she did
ex-girlfriend.
say to me, it's the worst thing anybody's ever said to me. But she's like, you don't know how to be a real man because you don't have a dad. And I was like, oh, okay. So we broke up.
Do you know what? That was a blessing. You're right.
That was a
'Cause
blessing.
She did not need to be in your life after
And you know
that.
what? Now you're an honorary Dead Dad Club member because
You are honorary.
Yeah.
And you have been.
We're happy to have you in that
beginning.
club, but it sounds like that was a horrible relationship anyway.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry
broke up
that you
with
had
her
to
after that.
experience that.
Yeah.
Are you guys listening to this out there? Don't put up with that bullshit.
That was like
a,
one thing that I was like, I can't forget.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That like it breaks the deal.
So broke
Man.
up with her. So in 2
Wow,
weeks,
she was a fighter. Huh?
I totaled my car.
So
Got
how
in
are
a
you
car
feeling about
accident,
it?
got fired by my job,
My
and broke up
girlfriend
with my girlfriend.
Oh
You
my
should have
God.
I'm
Did you
in a
write a
very-
country song?
I
You
know.
should have written a country. Is this when you started to fall in love with Garth Brooks?
Oh God.
No, I loved Garth Brooks way before
from the
that.
beginning. Okay.
So
But
in a very
man.
bad spot in my life, and I'm
No.
also in Arizona by myself because I decided to move there like an idiot. So I call my brother. I'm just like,
And is your brother in Colorado at the
yeah, he's in Colorado, and I'm like depressed, breaking down, probably crying. I don't know.
It's a low. It's a real low.
Real low. You can't get much lower in 2 weeks. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No, that and like you did it in blinding time.
Yeah, like it just 2 weeks.
It was
just
like you thought, I'm going to hit rock bottom. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to get there as fast as I can.
Yeah.
That's an express dirty
Yeah.
load right there.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
rough.
a tough February. I remember the month and everything.
Okay, I bet you do.
So February might not be your favorite month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've yeah.
So in a pretty low place, and I call my brother, and he's just like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, things are pretty shitty, but you also can look at it this way: you have no commitments right now, and you can do anything in the world. What would you go do? He's like, you don't have a car, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a job.
You can do anything.
I was like,
The world is your oyster.
Yeah, I was like,
And this
yeah,
is
already
why we
inspired
love
me, and then
DJ.
you had to throw those three things in there. Like, thanks, bro.
Yeah, this is why
He's got to tear you back down.
Yeah, he's just like, just a reminder, you don't have these things.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah,
just remember, this is where you're at.
I understand. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, but that's such a beautiful brotherly speech. Like, hey, your life's shit. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, it's shit. It can't get much shittier, so let's do something.
But he was like, figure out what you want to do in life, and I'll help you get there. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And there's support.
Yeah.
That's our BJ. That's another one of
Oh,
our...
and side note, if I forget to say it, Smarge has known this person in front of me, and he is one of the great human beings. So,
Oh, couldn't agree more.
whatever the hell the ex was talking about, that's why she's an ex-girlfriend, because no, you are, like, I would have not known you are man enough, or whatever that means. It wouldn't have crossed my mind.
I would also
And I
say
wanted
you're
to say that
probably
because-
more of a man without your dad than you would have been with him,
And
to be honest.
I mean, we could go there too. I mean, did you learn from that in a way that
Yeah.
you could have gone the other way and not gone back to soccer and just
yeah.
kept being a 17-year-old until you were 37. Let's face it, we know some of them, and they're not great.
We're getting deep in this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
This is a deep load.
Yeah. A deep load. Nice.
Ew.
Keep that one in there.
Hey yo, hey yo, where are you over there? Are you smart? Are you okay over there? Where are you going? Hey.
But anyway, that is a
But-
crazy story. So continue. Your brother said, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I'll help you. So I thought about it, and I was like, I didn't get to play soccer in high school. I didn't get to play soccer in college, but I always have known that I could play soccer.
Right.
And I was like, I want to go see if I can play soccer in another country and prove myself there.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Change the environment.
I called my brother and I was like,
How old were you at this point?
23.
God, that's pretty smart for 23.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So 23 years old. Call my brother. I'm like, all right, I have a plan. He's like, let's hear it. I was like, I want to go to Spain and play soccer. And he's like, okay, I'm not helping you with that. I was like,
Oh my God. I kind of wish you would have been
I was
here
like,
tonight.
I was like, but I will teach English while I'm there, so I'll have a job. And he's like, okay.
So there is a plan.
Yeah. And he was like, okay.
You weren't
do a little bit more research, but
you weren't like, oh, I'm going to go over there and be Beckham.
So do a little more research, and he gets me a plane ticket, helps me get out there.
Oh.
But before that, I didn't have a car, so I got a bicycle.
Well, you can't drive a car overseas.
No.
I mean, you could just be on a boat for a while.
I
guess you could.
Yeah.
Then you're on the wrong side. Your steering wheel's on the right, I think you've found a great time.
Yeah.
To not have a
bicycle
car.
isn't much better, though.
That's true. Doesn't get you very far, does it?
So made this plan, and I decided if I'm going to do this, I have to be like in peak condition, be good at soccer. So I joined the local like men's team, but I had a bike everywhere. So I was in the best shape of my life. So I would bike to soccer practice. Then I would help coach the youth like kids afterwards.
So how did you? So you healed? I mean, it just took a long.
It took a long time,
but it healed obviously because you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
With any injury, if you do the right things, it should hopefully heal. So you're
You took care of yourself.
Yeah.
Good job.
So I'd bike to soccer practice. I would then bike to Buffalo Wild Wings because that was my job. I was a chef in the back, or a chef.
Oh my gosh, hidden talents. Now
I put things in a deep fryer.
Chef.
Hey, that's a chef. Put that on the resume.
Yeah. Put
So
that there.
I would bike to Buffalo Wild Wings and I would bike home. So I was probably biking like 8 miles a day, playing soccer. And then this team, our games were on Sunday. So we would drive down. So the coach would pick me up. We would drive to the border. This is like 15 minutes away.
Where are you?
In Arizona.
Right. In the border of
Mexico.
Okay, that's
so,
where are you?
Yeah, so Mexican teams would shuttle up and then play us on this like high school field. So it was like really competitive.
But how did you handle? Was it illegal?
No.
People can go from country to country.
But just to play a game though, I just think.
Well, because Arizona is so close to the border, I think they just have
go through
leagues
and then playing right there.
They play in Mexico.
Yeah. You don't know what's going on in Smarge's head right now. I'm like, that just seems like
they would just play
the border.
Was it underground soccer?
No, it was normal soccer.
Was it played in
the
tunnels?
referees?
Did you have drugs? Just kidding. Go on. Sorry.
Terrible. That was bad.
I mean, I guess they might have just drove across and went back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I think
I'm not checking their papers. I'll be honest with you. I'm just playing soccer against them.
Oh, you said 90 minutes. That ain't my monkey, not my circus. Like, I don't give a shit. No, but what I was going to is it being the world's number one sport, I wonder if there were maybe back in the day, whatever, zones where kids could get together to play without the hassle of you have to go through immigrations and your passport and all that. I wonder if, because you said you went right to the border, so it makes me wonder if, were they always playing? What side of the field were you always playing on?
I don't know the answers to these questions.
Like, were you always playing on the same side of the field? And were they always on that side of the field?
Just shooting from half? Yeah.
It's like we're literally on the border.
I mean, it was like 10 minutes from the border, but yeah.
That is cool, though. So anyway, sorry. So back to that.
So I was playing pretty competitive soccer.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's all right.
Probably
We get
bite
it.
this joint up here in a second. But I was playing pretty good soccer. I was in incredible shape because I had a bike everywhere.
And you're only probably living off of buffalo wings.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to buy your own food.
No,
I mean, are you kidding me? Why would I do that?
I can't get groceries. I have a bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Buffalo Wild Wings and soccer. That's all I was doing. So I'm in incredible shape.
Sure.
It was also pretty fun because it was like a Mexican league. So like the refs were all speaking Spanish. So I was like, oh, this is going to help when I go to Barcelona. So then fly out to Barcelona. And did
you get accepted or did you apply or you just, I'm going to Barcelona? Like
I got accepted to like a school there to learn how to teach English.
Okay. But nothing about soccer.
Nothing about soccer.
Okay.
I was going to figure it out when I get there.
Oh, I love these stories.
Yeah, so
figure it out when I get there.
Well, yeah, I was like, you can figure it out.
I get you. No, but some people won't take that risk.
Yeah.
Right.
I do remember getting on the plane to Barcelona or like looking at it and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I could just leave, like call my brother, just go back to Denver.
Oh my God.
Never mind.
Never mind.
No,
Can't do this.
I don't think your brother would have picked you up. I think he would have said, nope, you go through with it because I remember asking him that very same question about how did you feel when you were leaving? I think he was leaving Texas where he was living to work on a ranch and he showed up in a pink Cadillac. How'd you feel? And he was like, oh, God. I was like, what the hell am I doing? So I think, and he said it ended up being a really great thing I did.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would have picked you up. I think he would have said, keep going forward.
Yeah, I don't think he would have picked me up either. But he's also lazy. So.
I don't think.
But also, he's my brother, and I know him really
you
well.
wouldn't have let yourself give up on that
And
dream.
smart.
though.
You're just
I know
giving
you
But
wouldn't.
it's
credit.
just when you stare at that plane and you're like, oh, I'm about to be
And you're leaving.
nowhere.
But you're also,
I don't know anyone in
you're
Barcelona.
not going to
Yeah.
another state.
Barely don't know Spanish that well.
don't know.
That's just it. And you're not going to England. That's what the other thing I was going to say. You're also, you're leaving the country you're born in, and also you're going to a country that English isn't their first language, and that's a whole nother. But thank God for people.
But I think what also helped you, and we'll get to this later, is that you lived in a lot of other countries when you were younger. So that probably helped the transition. But finish your story, please. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, it's being in other countries did help, but it is one thing when you're with like your parents and it's their job and like everything's taken care of.
Yeah, you just show up to a house.
When you have a duffel bag and you're getting on a plane to Barcelona and you're just by yourself and you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
a ballsy move.
Yeah. So just landed in Barcelona.
like his brother said, he didn't have a lot going
didn't have a lot to lose. Yeah.
Why not?
Oh, she took the dog too. And I was like,
Oh, see, I knew there was a country song in there. I knew it. I am sorry.
It's a cute little pug too.
Oh, you love pugs.
Too. However, your mom has Pablo now, and you have Miko, so it's all good.
It's all good.
Oh, took the dog. Oh, we need to write a
Took
song.
the dog. Okay.
So, get to Barcelona. Side note, they don't speak Spanish in Barcelona. They actually hate the Spanish, so they speak Catalan. So all that Spanish prep did not matter at all.
Wait, really? I've been to Barcelona.
And
they speak Catalan.
More like a
So
is it more like Portuguese kind of, or is it a mixture?
It's I don't know
because in Portugal they don't.
Yeah,
they're speaking Portuguese.
Yeah, so it's like it seems like it's kind of like French
so
Spanish
when did you
mixture.
learn this?
Yeah.
Pretty quickly when I got to the airport, and I was like, "That's not Spanish."
So you're reading the signs, going,
"Yeah." I was like, "What is this third language up here?" Because it's an airport, so it's got English, Spanish, and then this other language. I was like, "What is this?"
Well,
language?
sir, that is the language of the country you landed in, sir.
So Barcelona is the capital of Catalonia, which is
Barcelona. Barcelona. Which I don't understand, but
just Barcelona. So
and everybody
better
whispers
when you
like
whisper it.
Barcelona. I don't get it, but anyway.
I do know this actually. So the Spanish, why it has a lisp is there's a king of Spain that had a lisp.
Nuh-uh.
Is it
That's
really?
real?
I think so.
We need to.
I'm 90% sure.
You know what? Yeah, let's look that up or call Otter or something. Get Otter on the phone.
Keep talking, but I'm gonna look that up. I'm not doubting you, but I just want to see it.
Yeah, because I do wonder why people do. But
yeah, so that's why they
Barcelona.
That's so Barcelona. So Catalonia is a region that has multiple places.
Province.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
region, province.
So Barcelona is the capital of Catalonia, and so.
I did know that, and I forgot.
Yeah, and they don't like the Spanish. So the soccer teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona, when they play, it's also got political undertones under it.
Oh, Barcelona and Madrid then.
Yeah.
Madrid would be Spanish, and
Madrid's the capital of Spain. Barcelona is the capital of Catalonia.
Gotcha.
So they want their own independence.
To a long time ago. Yeah. This isn't gonna. Well, I'll tell you a little bit later I wonder where soccer was and all of that.
So like Barcelona won't have white on their jersey because Real Madrid is white. Like
so they're even kind of petty.
Yeah. Oh, they hate
are the
each
players?
Other.
It's not the team. Like the individual people are like that as well.
Probably not as. I mean, it's a fierce rival, but probably not as much because these players aren't from the regions necessarily. Like David Beckham played for Real Madrid.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
So
he's the one that was married to Posh Splash.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make. No, I'm joking. Yeah. He's like, I know two soccer people. It's Pele and Beckham, and those are the only two I know. But I was told earlier, really, I'm pretty impressed. Those are the only two you really need to know.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that later. Yeah. But yeah.
So yeah, get to Barcelona. I was like, well, this Spanish wasn't important.
No, it wasn't.
So I do my class was only 4 weeks, and so during those 4 weeks,
and this is to
teach people English.
So you can speak English, obviously, and then they just learn from you.
Yes.
Okay. This
And they're like, what? How do you
remember
How old are these
Remember
people?
Spency or NTRG?
Yeah, he did the same
It's
thing.
Type of
after
thing.
me.
Yeah, that's what.
Copied
Okay.
me.
Copy.
Well, it was
Yeah.
a great idea. So you do this.
How old are these kiddos?
So some of them, so I had different like classes and stuff. So some of them were just like anywhere from like, I don't know, 4 to 17. And then I also did like a business class.
Oh,
So
okay.
I do have
For like
to ask
adults.
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
With little
Like
ones.
I went to an office and during their lunch, they would come to class
okay.
with me. It's pretty
Okay.
hilarious.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, for little ones, how tall are you?
6'4", 6'5".
So, did that ever like scare the little ones?
No.
Okay, I'm just wondering because
you're kinda scary.
Because
Yeah.
you're not scary at all.
Dating.
But I could just imagine, like you said, you're not from their country, and then you're going to take them for a lunch hour. And I don't mean it to sound all weird like that, but we talked about this with Spenny, our other NTRG, like that
I
he
wasn't
was very-
taking kids to lunch.
No, the adults during their
I thought you were
during their lunch.
The kids were like, I would go to their house and tutor them. The parents are there.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I thought this was like a word.
Hey,
with
little
a day-
kid. Wanna go to
Hey, little
lunch?
kid, you want to go to
a
lunch?
daycare situation.
Before your siesta.
Like,
Well, you know, some companies have daycare.
what parent is giving their kid to me
That's
to take
what
to lunch?
I had
Let's
to.
go get barbecue.
You want to come with Uncle Talent?
Okay, hence my probing and questions because I'm like, this is just weird to
no.
me. I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
We'll
I
go
thought
get tapas.
with papas. Oh, we can go. And Uncle T. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
That would have been strange. But
I thought we were talking about like a corporate. You always hear those Europeans have it right with they have daycare right there.
Yeah,
in their,
that's
in
true.
their company and everything. So I
have long
thought that-
lunches and then siestas.
And I thought
and-
they like maybe hired.
I mean, that's not too far from. Yeah, I see where you were going, but
This makes so you didn't
So anyway.
scare a lot of the adults you ran into.
No.
I
I think a lot of the times they're like, why am I in this class? They like spoke pretty good English. They just want to get used to like an American accent. Because
yeah.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah, for business.
Okay.
But they
business,
would like
so they-
ask me questions about grammar. I'm like, I don't know. I just speak English. Like I don't know why this happened.
The American school system
Yeah,
is not
you-
great. So
and Jefferson
Yeah.
County. Whew.
your
they-
guess
they-
is as good as
yeah.
mine.
They did not depend on you for spelling, correct?
No.
That's good. That's one thing I've learned with Jefferson County. We are not the best spellers.
One of my favorite moves, though, I made this. These professionals do. It's right before Christmas. I just played Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas," but I took the lyrics out, so they had to fill it in, and we just listened to it 6 times in a row. And I was like, "All right, have fun in your next meeting."
Oh my god!
And I'm out.
Yeah.
Merry
That's
Christmas.
creative though.
Yeah.
That's good. That's creative.
Good practice. Everyone loves Mariah
So
Carey.
how did the little kids take to that?
I actually got the idea from teaching one of the like a 14-year-old girl. She was just she
'Cause
loved
it would
Miley
be- It
Cyrus.
would be right up.
And she didn't know like what she was saying, so then I printed out
that's
the
a good
lyrics for
idea.
her.
Really
And
good
so
idea.
anytime I actually hear Wrecking Ball, I think of this little girl because that's what we listened to for like
Oh my
40
god, that's
minutes.
adorable.
Oh my
While she would try and like
Making
fill
me
it
cry
in.
and laugh at the same
That's
time.
really
adorable.
cute. I love that.
So cute.
And that's such a great way to
Well, you
teach
hear
kids
about
too.
people, they learn like English
From
watching
TV shows.
certain
Yeah.
TV shows and music, that type of
Yeah.
thing. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So you think of this girl every time.
Every time I hear Wrecking Ball, I think
Oh,
it's like
that's
14-year-old girl. And she
adorable.
loved it so much. I was like, all right, I
and
guess
she
we'll listen
didn't
to
care,
it.
and she didn't care how many times she was going to listen to
she-
that song.
She probably listened to it 40 times after I
and
left.
she
yeah.
doesn't care. Yeah, that's living her.
There's these 7 and 8-year-old boys, or maybe 7 and 9, and I just played soccer with them the whole time. And I got let go of that job because the parents were just like, "You're just playing soccer with the boys all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, but in English."
A pass.
Yeah.
That's the only word you teach them.
Yeah,
Yeah, do they passe or like I don't know? How do you say Yeah, you're teaching them
I'm
in
teaching them
English.
English. Yeah.
That's
American.
awesome.
Yeah.
Over here. No.
But yeah, so I was teaching English, but I found these like soccer teams, and this one was like a 2nd division team, like in Catalan. So like they travel all over Catalonia, and I was like, hit them up, and they're like, you can come try out, but it's like, whatever. Like
This American
this
kid.
American, like,
Whatever.
they don't care at all. Like, I'm like sending it to them in English, like, hey guys,
Hey, my name is Sammy. I would
Yeah.
love to come try out
Yeah.
for your team.
I'm really good in America.
I can speak Spanish.
But I do struggle with the other one.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I go
Oh
to
my
this
God.
like soccer field, try out, and they're like, yeah, you seem decent. Like, you can keep practicing with us and we'll see how it goes. I was like, all right, cool. So I just start practicing with them, and then they're just like, all right, like, this American can actually play soccer. So then I actually made it onto the team, and then got to play and travel all over Catalonia and play soccer for this team.
That's awesome.
that's cool. And what division are you?
And so
like,
it's considered
okay.
second division. So they consider Barcelona first division Catalonia, but they're actually not in that. It's just like a political
It's
thing.
there, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like the league
I did
below.
learn that from the documentary.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they may be the World Cup, but each little region, each little country, state, no matter what, can have their own also
Yeah.
like
Okay.
rules and stuff. It's
Interesting.
It was kind of strange.
Yeah.
If I understood the documentary right.
Yeah.
From the World Cup. The World Cup doesn't mean that's how all of soccer's ran everywhere. All the
So I joined this team at first, and they're just like, oh, Americans can't play. And so I had to sit on the bench. And I've never been a
You
bench
sound almost
player.
like a Beckham. Didn't he go through that? Because that's another documentary Smarge watched.
Yeah.
More documentaries. Yeah.
Didn't he go somewhere where they just made fun of him? Like, you won't be able to play. And they
Yeah.
weren't very nice.
I mean,
was it there?
It's normal.
Or was
I
it
feel
in
like
Spain,
when
or
you're
where
playing
was
a
it?
competitive sport, like, people don't want to give up their
But this
spots.
was
Right.
Beckham.
Like,
Yeah.
you're
I would-
competing to play, like, for playing time at this level.
Right.
And so
But so
and an
it
American
makes sense that
showing
other
up,
teammates
like,
wouldn't be
what-
happy
yeah,
for
yeah.
Beckham to join their team. They weren't happy because he was not from their country, or he hasn't been on their team, or
With Beckham, there's like a lot of different
Oh,
things that happen.
that's even more.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I just feel like it happens sometimes.
that makes sense.
But yeah, so I had to start on the bench, and then the first game I got to play 10 minutes.
Started on the bench.
So,
10 minutes.
Yeah, got
All
in
right.
the 80th minute, played 10 minutes, and like played all right, but like not much you can do in 10 minutes.
Right.
But I gradually just kept
Wait. Did you get any assists?
I did not.
Okay.
But I
Just had to ask for your
gradually
mom.
kept getting like moved up, so I would just like get subbed in like halftime, and then probably like a month into it, I was a starter, and I was just like, "Fuck yeah!"
No
fucking
way.
did it. And so I'm
See?
starting.
And you just said, I was going to ask you. So that's when you felt like what I set out to do when I got on that plane with my backpack, and then went, "What the fuck am I doing?" At that point, you're like, "This is what I wanted to achieve."
Right.
So was this you 8 again, turning around and seeing the parents
Yeah.
and the kids and your teammates just cheering you on?
Yeah, it was pretty cool in the locker room before like the coach came in and was just like, all right, Sammy start. Actually, this is not in English at all. So they speak Spanish and like they're giving the directions.
Oh,
and
okay.
stuff.
So nothing's going on in English.
Nothing's in
down.
English.
Nothing's going down.
Yeah, so I'm just
in
always
here.
like standing there, just not knowing what's going on. And then like I had like a couple friends that would like talk to me,
Yeah,
be like,
like,
"Oh,
this is what's
this
happening."
is yeah." But this time I saw my name on like the board he brought in, like of the starting lineup. So I was like paying attention.
You're like, wait a minute.
Shit,
gotta
I need to
figure out
pay
what you're
attention
saying.
now.
like what is
Why
my
is my name
direction?
there?
What am I supposed to do? And so one of my friends, he was the other forward. He was half German, half French, and people would always just be like, make fun of him, like, "Do you hate yourself?"
that's
they were
terrible.
ruthless to him.
Oh
But he was like pretty good
God.
at soccer. But so he was the other forward, and he was just like,
Okay.
"Oh, you're starting," and
I'll
like
help
giving
you
all the
out.
directions.
Oh.
And I'm just like,
Shout
what am
out
I
to him,
supposed to
right?
do? And he would just like score goals. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Like, I didn't
all
need
the
that. I didn't
direction I
need a
needed.
translator for that.
Yeah, that's awesome though.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
shout
it-
out to that guy for
Yeah. And like my team was
Making a
made up
connection.
of like how you kind of like dream of a soccer team. So like I had this French German forward. My whole midfield was Spanish. The defenders were
what do
Italian.
they call that in the NFL? Your what do you guys play with the football people? You make up your own teams.
Fantasy football.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly
It
like
sounds
that.
it sounds like fantasy football.
Like
in a way.
it's
You get to-
exactly how like
But
if
you
you
were
want the best
playing it.
defenders in the world, you have Italians. That was my team. If you want the best midfielders
Oh,
in the
okay.
world, there's Spanish. That was my
Okay.
midfield, and then I'm the forward, and I'm
you're
just
like, I
this
can
is
just-
cool as fuck.
That's
And,
so cool.
awesome.
How did it go? How did your first game go?
good. I never looked back. Within a few games, they're like, oh, Americans can play. And so they gave me the nickname Captain America. And I was like, that's fucking, let's go.
That's
Captain
your new
America.
name.
Yeah.
I do not go by that all the time.
Yeah, why didn't you start just going by that, Mr. T?
I don't know.
Captain
Keep
America.
that.
I'm gonna have to put
Yeah.
that down.
So
oh my god!
I was like, worked my way from the bench.
Like, oh
I got
gosh.
a nickname from my teams. I'm Captain America.
oh my god, you're living you have
this
made
is
it.
cool. Yeah. And I was just traveling around to different little towns playing soccer. The crowds weren't big, like 200 people, but
That's so
200
cool.
like
Yeah.
not big to me. 200 people, that's big.
That's big.
yeah. But like
Were you getting paid?
so everything was paid for, and then
That's
like the
nice.
travel and like
Yeah,
all
what did
that
you have
stuff.
to come up with to do it? Or
I didn't pay anything. So
Yeah.
that's why I
Nice.
think it's probably considered semi-pro, because I wasn't paid, but I wasn't
given a
like-
salary
Paying.
either?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I wasn't paying. My jersey was
you were
provided
kinda
for
like
me.
in the Olympics
like,
or something.
Like travel.
Yeah.
So like they would get you like your tickets to go to the places. So that was also fun, riding trains to different little
Yeah,
cities. And
that's
cities in
awesome.
Spain.
Yeah.
And then like playing in like their like little stadiums by the beach and stuff.
That's
And
so
what
rad.
self-worth you must have felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
Someone
pretty
else is
cool.
willing to put some money forward because they believe
Invest
in me
in
as well, and
you.
I don't know them. I mean,
Yeah.
that creates some
I don't even
self-worth
speak
as
their
well.
language.
Yeah, God, I tried. I gave it an effort, and then I found out it wasn't their language. But I mean, yeah, I mean that's great.
How long were you there for?
Just under a year. So
Wow.
my last game, this was the coolest moment of my life. I was playing a pretty good game. I think I'd already scored 2 goals.
Other than Marion Smarge's daughter.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Like,
Yeah. minor
soccer,
date in your life.
soccer.
Okay, soccer.
So I think I'd already scored 2 goals, and so we're
Oh
going.
my gosh, this is your last game. You
This
already
is my last game. So we're about in the 80th minute. I score a goal for a hat trick. So I run over to the corner flag, and I knew this was my last game because I had a flight to go back. And I like ran over to the corner flag, kicked it, and then gave the little crowd a like Captain America salute, and then like was celebrating with my teammates. And then they subbed me off. So in soccer, there's a tradition. So when you're like leaving or you're getting like, they'll bring you out early so you can like applaud to like the fans and stuff.
that,
And like
follow you and yeah.
I was so mad at first. I was getting subbed that I didn't even think about it. And as I'm walking towards like our bench, the captain was like, applaud to
you're
everybody.
supposed
Like,
to be-
this is like
this is
for
your-
you.
this is your moment,
Yeah.
sir.
And I'm just like, oh yeah. I was like, why did I get taken off? I was like, I'm
have
trying to get 4 goals
yeah.
here. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is my last game.
Right.
So I like get
Gotcha.
applaud to
That
the
was-
crowd and like to my teammates
Aw.
and everything and walk off. So
That's beautiful.
That's so cool.
scored a
That's
hat trick.
beautiful.
My last touch was a goal.
Is hat trick
That's
free?
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Threw a little
nice.
salute and then got a applaud on the way out. So
That's so
it's a cool way
cool.
to
Now, what
end it.
made you? How did you know it was going to be your last game? Were you
My plane ticket
Yeah,
going
yeah,
home?
plane ticket home.
Oh, so you weren't there with just one ticket? Like you knew?
Well,
So you gave yourself a certain amount of time, or how did that work? Just curious.
I didn't plan out going to Barcelona super well in the sense that what I read on the internet was not exactly true.
Okay. Well,
figure.
hey,
So when I like went to this school, people online were like, "Oh, you don't need to apply for like a visa. You can
Okay.
just do this, and you can be under like the table, and it's fine. Nobody ever
God.
cares."
well,
Turns out
no,
that's wrong.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost got kicked out of Europe when I was flying back from my brother's wedding because they're like, "How long have you been here?" I was just
Okay.
like,
And I get
2
that because
weeks."
there's a lot. And each country over in Europe has their own times
Yeah.
as how long you
Right.
can stay, and
Yeah.
a lot of times they don't even let you book the ticket unless you have a return ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if
I mean, you
have
can
a,
change
you have
the
a way
return
out.
date, but you
Yeah.
have to show them a return ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, so that this was
Yeah.
in your plan.
No.
Well,
so I
even
would've
more
stayed
kudos
longer,
to you
But not being a resident means I couldn't have a bank account. I couldn't have like insurance because I
Right.
was there illegally, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
I was
You
the
were-
Mexican across the border.
Full circle.
Yeah.
That's a full
Yeah.
load right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, full circle. So it made sense.
Yeah.
And you were adult enough to see it.
Yeah. And I got my time and I got to
and you
accomplish
accomplished what
I
you
want.
went
Yeah.
for.
That's so cool.
It was a cool.
I love that story.
I love that story too. I just see that 8-year-old little boy in you, like re-experiencing that feeling. Oh my God, into your 20s.
So
Yeah.
proud. Yeah.
Being able to experience that again is awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It felt good.
So what did you do when you came back?
I just became an adult.
Live the dream.
I already accomplished what I needed to. I'm
Yeah,
good.
you're
Like,
done.
everything
You're
else
done.
is gravy.
Yeah.
No, I just still play soccer twice a week.
Which I want to ask you about. You still have soccer in your life, which is wonderful. And is it just recently you started coaching little teams, or I don't mean little teams. I mean little girls,
people.
little
Yeah.
people. Little girl. Yeah, which I just think's adorable. What a great way to pass it on.
So I've played soccer basically since I was 17, all the time still. And so when I got back from Spain, I worked at Enterprise, and I met a friend there. He actually was my roommate for a little bit, but he loved soccer. He was Peruvian. And when I left Enterprise, he also left, and he started coaching soccer. And he was like, "Oh, do you want to come help me coach? I have 2 teams. I could use help." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll help you out." What he didn't tell me is that he was actually just going to give me one of the teams, and he was
Yeah,
going to
here
coach.
you go.
Yeah. And then he was
What he didn't tell you is I have overextended myself.
he was also getting married that fall. So basically I was in charge of this whole team, and they were like 8-year-old, 9-year-old girls, and I had no connection to them. I just was like,
Oh my God. You're
Just
so
this
good
guy
now.
you met
just
that was like
yeah.
this
I
was-
thought I was helping out my friend. It turns
Yeah,
out
right.
I got this little girl team, and I was like, "What do you guys want to name yourselves?" And they're like, "The Rainbow Waffles." And I was like, "All right, we're the Rainbow Waffles. Let's
love
go."
that.
Oh my God, is that their name?
Yeah, so that was their name. They're the Rainbow Waffles, and I
Rainbow Waffles.
and-
Shout out
so
to you.
cute.
Yeah.
We'll send you a G-rated version of the podcast.
Yeah.
With your coach.
And
What do
they're-
they call you, Coach?
Coach Sam.
Sammy?
Yeah.
Coach Sammy?
Yeah,
Not
so-
Captain America?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you should have stuck with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why you don't still call yourself that. That's a
Our
great
country's going up and down right now.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
Yeah.
He's incognito.
Yeah.
I get
I'll
it.
come back when it's
Yeah, when it's
a little
ready.
When we're
better.
back on top.
Yeah, when we're back on top. We're number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did say, and Smarge did quote that, America's definitely going through their teenage years right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Or our
exciting.
terrible twos. I don't know. It's one or the other. We're
Wow,
going
the
through
whole
a rough.
universe, it could be terrible twos.
We're going through a rough
Well,
time.
We are. And remember when we were the cutest thing in the world? Like, people loved us and couldn't wait to see what we were going to do. And now they're like, oh my God, what are they doing next?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
a.
Captain America
debacle.
when it's ready.
Yeah. And
That's so
it's
neat.
on the shelf. I can
How-
pull it down.
How do you enjoy coaching? Is it still just
Yeah.
as enjoyable as? I mean, probably not as playing, but is it still just as
What do you do?
rewarding?
Have you come across parents, the parents that aren't very nice? Have you come across that really, or is
Yeah.
that still?
Well, there's 2 different questions there.
Yeah.
The first
sorry.
question.
Sorry, I'm all anxious now. Now I'm getting to my list.
The first question about coaching. So it's different, and it's also given me a different perspective about my whole soccer career. It's cool to see kids do things for the first time, or try
Yeah.
something, or just
Yeah.
that joy that I had when I was 8 years old and scored. You get to see those.
You got to see that again.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
it's just
cool.
it's pretty cool to just see them
So you get
do
something out
something.
of it,
Yeah,
too,
so you
as
just
well.
get to
You're
see
like,
these
you
things.
yeah.
And it's also one of the things is they're little kids, so they don't care what's going on in your life, but they just make hilarious jokes and stuff. So it gave me a different perspective on my soccer career in the sense that when you become professional at something, that becomes your job and it's not your passion anymore. So I still have soccer
As your
and
passion,
and
as
I
your
still get to
therapy.
enjoy it every single
It's
day.
still your 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's still my 90 minutes. It's never been work to me. And anytime that it's because I was trying to accomplish something,
Right.
but not necessarily in a professional level
That
or
is
setting.
a great way.
Right.
I see what you're saying. Like, say you turn professional, that 90 minutes, say you just bought a new home or something, that 90 minutes you could be totally focused on, I need to play well. I just bought this house. I have this mortgage. I have to stay on this team.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it doesn't become your 90 minutes of,
It's
for
not
you.
your escape anymore.
It's not your
It's
escape.
your,
I can see
it's
that.
a criticize if you do bad. It's,
yeah.
If you do good, then that just becomes the norm. So if you have a bad day, then everybody's on you. So
Right,
it's
yeah.
not, you're not the kid playing soccer anymore. And you don't have that as 90 minutes. So
Right.
coaching kind of helped me realize that is that like, I always got to keep that joy and I never had to worry. Because when I was doing it in Spain, it was for myself to prove a point, not
Right.
Right.
for anybody else.
And you
Right.
did it. And
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, and the other documentary I watched was about Beckham and Posh. And I thought that was a really good documentary on Netflix. Because it didn't just talk about the sport, but it talked about what the sport was and is in his life. Mm-hmm. And it's a part of his life.
Right.
That's just the way it is. So it seems like he almost found, I don't know, what do you think in your opinion?
I think
Because he still has the passion, but it really got political for him. He got rejected. I couldn't believe couldn't believe England, his own country, rejected him at one point, right?
yeah,
I was just like,
they're
well,
pretty nasty to them.
sucks.
I think your passion can evolve. You know, you can go into it with a really light-hearted, naive point of view and love it no matter what. And then when it becomes something that's bringing in your primary income or like supporting your family,
And
then
it
it becomes
shifts.
still a passion
Right.
to you, but
It shifts
in a
It's
different
shift.
way. I mean, that's really, you would have a better perspective in it, I think, Mr. T, but
There's
I
a
think it
shift.
just shifts. I think he still has a passion for it. It's just
I mean,
different.
You still have a passion for it even when you're professional, but I don't think you get the like 90-minute escape the same way.
And you don't have the joy.
Once you
necessarily.
retire from it, I bet it comes back after time because
Okay,
then you're just
right.
playing again and you're just having fun or messing around. And like
And-
you've already proved yourself. But I think in the journey of being the professional is when it's probably the toughest
It
because
seems like it. It almost seems not worth
it's
it
work,
for me.
basically.
I mean,
just
yeah.
seems-
I mean,
End
it's
of
a
the
pretty
day.
cool job to have, but
If you're treated like if
Yeah.
they love you, but if they don't love you, that is rejection on top of rejection on top of rejection.
and I think that's why you also see athletes like have different escapes that aren't their sport. Like a lot of them will
True,
golf
right.
or do other things.
Right,
so you
okay.
still find something.
Right.
But
And
your
that's-
first passion, and it not. And actually, I think Nikola Jokic is a great example of this. Is he's just really good at basketball, and he just sees it as a job. But like his passion is his horse racing and those things.
Oh,
But you
right.
don't make money horse racing.
he wasn't. He wasn't making money.
So why not play basketball?
Yeah,
If
no,
you're
why not be
like-
the best basketball player in the world?
If you're like 7 feet tall, you might as well play
if you're-
basketball.
I guess I'll just be the best basketball
And
player in
just
the
real
world.
quick-
I guess.
Yeah.
Uncle T, just explain real quick who he is in case Little Monk and Al are going to listen to this in 30 years.
All right. He's the savior for the Denver Nuggets. He's a 3-time MVP, brought the Nuggets their first championship, finals MVP, multiple year All-Star, but he's going down as one of the greatest basketball
Yeah,
players.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
and did a lot.
He's amazing.
for
Yeah.
like for the
Yeah,
Denver Nuggets.
yeah, the
It was
Nuggets were
wonderful.
nothing
They,
before
I mean, they were in a lull. We'll
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah.
They were in a lull.
A long,
I'd say
It was a long sleep.
Yeah.
It was almost like a Rapunzel sleep,
Yeah.
and he did rejuvenate it. I mean, and his brothers in the stands crack.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah,
I love it.
pretty great.
I love it. Anything to bring something like that back. So I'm going to ask you real quick. I was kind of amazed by this. Like, if I were to ask you real quick, like, where do you think soccer first originated? Who like has claim on it? Because I was thinking like going back all the way to caveman and what you had said earlier, like you can have rocks and put them in socks and play. But I was surprised. So who do you think claims fame?
I know. who
Okay, so
claims
you
it.
do know it.
It's the English.
Okay, so you
yeah.
already knew this news.
Yeah.
Not sure if you knew this.
You know what?
Yeah.
Like, but what I was the late 1800s,
Yep.
and I was surprised. I thought I was going to see something like the 1400s with King Henry VIII or something, but I guess it was just when they decided to write down rules.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
probably like modern football, soccer.
Right.
Is what they claim is they invented it because they invented the rules. I think probably since the dawn of time, people have been kicking things and trying to hit things. Like,
Right.
I think I could kick this and see if I can do that. Like,
Make it into this box.
I could see two cavemen just
like, what the hell are we gonna do today?
You throw things, you kick things. We haven't evolved that much. Like, you still do it.
Right.
Well, we talked about it too as a sport being it back in the day. It was a very like posh type of sport, right? It was like
it was like
club,
a gentleman's sport, like
it's like more like a country club,
like
the
golf.
elite. I feel like did it.
Yeah,
that's why they always had like collars on their jerseys and
Isn't
stuff.
that how rugby kind of used to be the same as well? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like polo. That's what I was thinking of.
Polo, like that prestige,
fancy.
Okay. But then it became. What do you think? How did it become like the world? Like, and here's the other thing: being in America the whole time, we were kind of late on the game. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were sidetracked.
Was it because we had NFL? Is that what it was, or what was it? What in your opinion? I mean, we don't know, but looking through all the history of it, America, like we didn't. It doesn't seem. I mean, we had these little things here and there. They traced it back like early 1900s, but nothing really until maybe 1935, maybe, and then nothing until 74.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two reasons why soccer is not as popular in the U.S. One is because you can tie in soccer, and we're too competitive in the U.S. and we don't understand a tie. We're just like, what do you mean this game tied? And
Oh my God, I am true American because I didn't even know you could tie.
Yeah.
So you can end a whole game and it's a tie. Like you're not going to play
like a normal, like let's say it's a league game, it's just 90 minutes with stoppage time and it can tie because you get points based off of where like it's 1 point for a tie, 3 points for a win. So a tie can be good sometimes.
No idea.
Yeah. And then whoever has the most points
it.
at the end of the season wins the championship.
Right.
So.
Okay,
that makes total sense. That because I wasn't brought. I like the idea.
Yeah.
What's your other train of thought? Because I have a theory as well.
I also think that for a while, just the U.S. I mean, I think we still do this. Is like we want to be like rebels, kind of.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
And so, like
we like to be different.
Okay, so we're still stuck in the cowboy phase. Like we want to be a little
so like
different.
When everybody else in the world was playing soccer, we were just like we're playing baseball
or football
or
hockey. With Canadians,
I do love
hockey's. I mean,
but baseball is our like an NFL. Is that ours too?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We took rugby and changed the rules.
Exactly.
Basically,
yeah.
To make it
my favorite sport that
technically more.
There's
boring.
something in Australia called Aussie rules, which is a lot like
rugby is cool.
Aussie rules. That's my favorite spectator sport I've ever witnessed.
So I actually played rugby for Metro.
But then you did?
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
No way!
Oh my gosh! And my dear friend, forever and ever, she was one of the first PT people that was the PT for the team. For the Metro team. And then years later, she got to be with one of the guys she met on the team. And I'm talking like retirement years. And now they're up in Canada spending their retirement years together. You said about Metro or about rugby. I didn't realize you played, but isn't that pretty? Weren't you afraid you were? I hear about the horrible injuries with soccer.
Yes.
But then that seems to multiply when you go to rugby.
So I actually got tricked into rugby. So in my dorm, my neighbor was the captain of the rugby team, and he was like, we became friends.
Was there alcohol involved?
Yes.
Okay.
So he was like, oh, you're a soccer player. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and you like football? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you should play rugby. And I was like,
I got something for you.
And I was like, I don't want to play rugby.
Is it even the same? It's not the same mixture. It's no.
Just the game, like the time, and you run a lot. So that's where the soccer came from. And then the football and
because the ball looks more like a NFL football.
Yeah.
Not like a soccer ball, but a lot of running.
Yeah, it's continuous rugby.
What's up with what's up with their ears? Because you don't see
the scrum.
Well, I get the scrum and they're all together, but you see them.
Scrum.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the scrum where because you see them protecting their ears, or they have these weird.
You're right up in somebody's butt, just trying to push the scrum.
And the ears take the worst of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I've never been in a scrum, so I'm not quite sure. But I guess if you're that tight in there, anything that isn't,
Yeah. So you're basically
they should have just sewed their ears down. Thinking ahead. You want to be a rugby player? Well, we got a procedure for you real quick.
Yeah,
Let's just sew those puppies to your skull.
I think that it's more of a badge of honor.
They do.
And rugby players like bragging about how tough they are. And they are tough. There is no doubt about it.
Do you think it is one of the toughest sports?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So how I got tricked into it was because they were just like...
Can you believe that, Haas? Alcohol was involved.
Yes, so...
You're kidding.
No.
So he's like, do you want to be on the rugby team? I was like, no. And he's like, there's a keg after every game. And I said, there's a keg after every game?
You had me at keg.
I was like, all right, I'll play
say
rugby.
no more. Keg.
If I have to.
So one of the coolest traditions in rugby is you go play the game, you beat the shit out of each other, and then the home team invites you over and you drink beer together and you just talk about...
Is that why they call it gentleman's game? Is that like a tradition?
That is a tradition. I don't know why.
That's so cool.
So you just talk about how you like beat the shit out of each other, drink beer.
In England, they called this the gentleman's game. They always call, even over soccer, over anything, they would say this is the gentleman's game. So it must be that tradition, that history of you, even though they're your opponent, you will host them.
Sportsmanlike conduct.
And you will show
that.
even after the game.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you would go to so whoever lost would
Yeah, so like let's say we played School of Mines.
That's cool.
So we played School of Mines. They invite us over. We drank the keg and just talked about how we beat the shit out of each other.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Have fun.
And it was a tradition, like you said.
And it's when I went to
cute.
CSU, I was like hanging out with the rugby team one time, and they like had a team over. So it's like a pretty normal rugby.
Okay, Monk and Little Owl, we'll see if we can get you maybe a rugby player.
Yeah. Oh, I know a rugby player.
Just to
Rugby's
talk about.
cool,
To talk about. I mean,
it's that and hockey. I would probably say I look at those two sports and I'm just like,
Me
and I mean
too.
I played rugby and I'm just like, this is not.
They're hardcore.
but then I would go for hockey only because they have more padding.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to ice skate. You have to have hand-eye coordination.
I would you just need to like know how to curl up in a little ball.
You're not going to be a very good hockey player.
It's great. I know those sports
But I want
are
the
miraculous.
padding.
They're crazy.
I know. I
don't know how they do it. And then most of the like hockey players don't even have any teeth. They're completely.
Yeah.
They're all fake
Okay,
teeth.
so
Well,
hockey, you lose the teeth.
Rugby.
Rugby.
Rugby, you lose the ears. Oh yeah, I had a story about that.
Do you? We were.
Yeah.
Sorry about what?
One of my good
is
friends,
your
her
story?
brother used to play rugby, and she invited me to one of the games, and I was like, "Oh, I'll go," and went to go check it out, and sure enough, her brother's ear came off during half the game.
Was it in the scrum? Like when they're all together, or were you just like, I don't know what's
I'm
happening?
not sure.
Why
I
is
was
his
paying
ear-
attention enough.
Did they
to
sew
know.
it back on? What did they do? Is it?
The coach literally taped his whole ear to his head, just wrapped his whole head in tape, and was like, "Get back out there." And he played the rest of the game. I don't know. It was insane. That was the last, only and last rugby game I ever went to. I was like, this is too
Stand
much.
by. Oh, so who are Pele to you and Beckham to you? Because the only reason Smarge is asking is those were the only two names that like came to my head, except for this not nice FIFA guy, which has been replaced.
Yeah, Pele is considered the greatest player of all time.
So is he still? Even over Beckham? Because what I thought was really weird is...
Definitely over Beckham.
Okay, learning all this about Beckham, which I thought he was probably the greatest just because of... But it's a different
Because he's
time.
so hot.
Yeah, it's because he's hot.
But not only that, it's a different time with social media and all that. Like this Pele guy, although he didn't die until the 2000s, he last played, I think, in 74 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
in the mid-70s, he last played.
Wow.
But the fact that his name kept going on told me that, this guy's pretty important.
Yeah.
More so than Beckham. No offense,
I
Mr.
might
Beckham.
be wrong on this, but I think he won his first World Cup when he was 17 for Brazil.
Oh my god.
And he was like the best player
And
there.
4 World Cups, I believe. I read.
Yeah.
4 World Cups by the time he was 32, guys.
Yeah.
No
32.
way.
This guy
And
packed it in.
He's got like over 1,000 goals. He was doing stuff like 30 years before other people could do stuff.
Oh my god, that's
Do you
amazing.
think your mom taught him that little
Yeah,
back?
she's old enough.
She
That That is not what I meant.
We're editing that out.
We are editing that out.
Keep it
my
in.
My friend.
That's what
okay. We may have to keep it in, but you know what? You know where I stand. But I just pictured your mom out there showing him the little
That back heel.
Back heel.
It's all about the assists, Pele.
How many assists did Pele have?
Not a lot. So he's considered the greatest, but you can make argument. It's also hard to define who the greatest player is because people play in different times and there's different styles.
Exactly,
and,
but he is one name that really...
he is one of the greatest. He's on the Rushmore of soccer players.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. So for you... So how many? There's 4 in Rushmore, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for you, who would be your... We need to add this, I think. This is a good question. Thank you, Mr. T.
Yeah.
We need to add this to the podcast, I think. Who would be your Mount Rushmore?
My Mount Rushmore for soccer.
Yeah, who would that be?
Number 1... Oh, I know what this is.
Okay.
So number 1 would be Thierry Henry. So he was a forward. He played for Arsenal. He was just incredible. I just loved him. But
I'm going to read it. Doesn't ring a bell yet.
Thierry Henry, yeah.
Like what years? Is this early 2000s?
This is like, early 2000s.
Okay. Because that's when Marge was first.
No, early 2000s. Okay. My second favorite player would be Zinedine Zidane. So he's a French player. He got kicked out of the World Cup for headbutting somebody in the final. And it was his last game ever. It was but he's a great soccer player, but it's just, I was like, that's a hilarious way to go out.
Was he an aggressive player?
Yeah.
Okay,
and he plays for the French team, but his heritage, I don't know if his dad was Moroccan, so he's North African, and then he was one of the best players in the world at the time. So he always kind of had a North African, let's go.
Arrogant type of arrogance about him that we're going to do this way. Yeah.
He was cool. And
so was this like a John McEnroe, or he was just sort of an aggressive on the field? Okay.
He was just like a magician with the ball and pretty cool.
Okay, so that was 3.
That's number 3.
That's 2.
No, you said...
Zinedine Zidane is one person.
No, you said... You've already said 3.
Oh.
But the last 2 are Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, okay. Messi.
So Pele didn't make it.
Is Messi still
Pele
playing?
play. So this is like my person.
Oh, okay.
Like,
your
these are my
I like that. So you never.
You
wouldn't have.
Yeah.
What you wouldn't have, sir.
This isn't necessarily who I think are the best players
It's who
of all
you've
time.
seen
These
play.
are my
These
Rushmore.
are my Rushmore.
Growing up, Thierry Henry. I wanted to play soccer like him. Zinedine Zidane, just like the way he played.
Was there like a famous Gary something? Gary.
Wait, is Messi still playing?
Yeah, Messi's still playing.
Wow, he's wow.
He's getting up there.
Really?
So let me ask you. Let me ask you about the flops, soccer flops.
Yeah.
I just feel like that soccer gets kind of a bad rep sometimes with some of these ridiculous flops. What is that about?
What do you mean?
So soccer players have this. I mean, there's just
being
there's
dramatic.
There's a lot of times when people will get hit in soccer and they really dramatize it so that they're just wailing on the ground. It's a lot more intense than other sports, I would say. Why do players do that? There has to be a reason.
But also, doesn't it hurt a lot? You guys don't have any padding either.
I mean, I'm sure some of them hurt, but some of them are come on, man.
So
it's a flop. They're being dramatic.
Got you.
So part of that is gamesmanship. So let's say somebody's fouling me a lot and the ref's not calling it, then you have to work it out. Because it's a quick thing that normally happens and the ref's not going to see it. So they are over dramatic in a sense to get the ref's attention on it.
Okay.
It's not
so
really
it's a strategic move.
It's more because if you do it enough, let's give this player a yellow card or a red card because he keeps fouling people, and so it's not really because it hurts or anything. You're just trying to you're playing to the ref basically to try and get more. Now, not every player does it. I don't roll around on it because you're putting the game in the ref's hand at that point if you go down easily.
I was gonna say,
and so I always try and play through it.
It's not the players' game anymore. It's not the people that came to see it anymore.
So you get to decide how you want to do it. Okay. So some players roll around and flop. I always try to play through it because I don't want to do that, and then the ref doesn't call it, and then I just lost
You
the
have
ball or
respect for the
whatever.
game.
Right.
I think it sounds like bottom line, you have respect for the game, and for you, that doesn't feel respectful.
Yeah. And I feel like if you're getting fouled, it's because you earned it. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
they're trying to stop you any way they can. And so, foul me, keep fouling me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That so makes sense.
Yeah, they're fouling you because they're losing usually,
like,
and
nobody
they're
fouls
upset.
somebody. Yeah, you don't foul somebody worse than you.
Right.
You don't pick on little kids. Like,
So I do, because I watched this documentary, I want to ask why Beckham did not make the Mount Rushmore, only because I've just recently learned about the guy. So it doesn't really matter. But I did see a lot of political stuff that seemed to really be going on. And then marrying Posh Spice probably even...
And he's so
good.
hot.
He is very
He's so hot.
He is very good looking.
We can all agree.
yeah.
I was just
Very
like, wow,
attractive
this is
human.
Brad Pitt. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's better
he's
than
aged
that's
very
better
well.
than Brad Pitt.
He's aged very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just curious
like a
because
fine wine.
He played for my favorite soccer
I knew
team,
this about you, Manchester United. And that was his, well, I knew this about you. Not that you're also wearing it, but
As he's wearing the jersey.
But I wondered why he didn't make, like,
So he just plays a different position than me.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, he's famous for his like crosses and like his set pieces and stuff. And that's not what I did.
okay.
Right.
So
He was midfield?
He's supplying the ball. He's the
Okay.
one. My mom
He's
would be
the
very
assist.
my mom would be very proud of David Beckham.
yeah.
He was giving.
He has so many
Yeah,
assists.
my mom loves David Beckham.
So is it fair to say
And
you're
my
on the
mom's
field
Mount
waiting
Rushmore,
for?
David Beckham.
Okay.
David Beckham, David
Because
Beckham,
he's hot
David Beckham.
and assists.
Yeah.
Just-
Okay. So is it
he's
fair
all
to
for it.
say
Yeah.
when you're on the field, you're waiting for a Dave Beckham to
Yeah.
make the goal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I play at the very front by
The very
goal.
front. So you're waiting for somebody
Yeah,
to
give me the ball so
supply
I can
okay.
score.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm thinking.
Okay, so that makes sense.
What was like your favorite moment so far in your entire soccer career? I mean, maybe you've already said it, and that's
I
fine,
think
but
the last goal in Barcelona.
That would be-
America,
Yeah, that-
peacing out.
yeah.
that would be probably mine too. That sounds pretty epic.
It's pretty cool.
Do you think you'd ever go back like across seas and try to do it again?
No.
Now that you're an old timer?
Yeah, join the old man's league.
Join the old-
Work my way up. I don't know your language. Still,
I'm back.
I'm back.
Captain America's back.
What's up? Remember me? They're like, man, he's terrible. I'm like, I'll come back. They'll just give me a little
Boy,
bit.
Don't worry.
But that would
You'll
be
grow to like
Yeah.
me.
That would be a second comeback, though.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean? You've already had your first comeback, which a lot of people don't get.
Yeah.
So you could do a second. Oh,
yeah.
that's funny.
No, I mean, I go back to Barcelona. I don't think I have
Here's
a job
a question:
now.
would you
Yeah.
want to go back to Barcelona? Like, is that
would love to
team
go back to
still?
Barcelona.
Is that
Oh, yeah.
team
Yeah.
though, or that organization still around to where you could go be one of those 200 and
Yeah.
watch those guys?
Yeah.
and cheer them on. Like,
Oh, that'd be fun.
like
That
they,
would be
do you know what I
cool.
mean?
Yeah.
That would be
cool,
like
yeah.
that would be like full circle.
That'd
Yeah.
be pretty
That
cool,
would
You
yeah.
should
cool.
do
You
that.
could be
We
one
should
of
all
those
go.
two.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Barcelona.
I love Barcelona.
Barcelona. I do want to go. And that would be great. And you could be one of those 200 people just making that player's day. You know what I mean? That would be awesome.
I also looked it up about the Barcelona.
And how is that?
It does say I only looked at a few articles, so you could be very accurate about the
Lisp.
king, but it does say that the language Catalan.
Catalan has a lot of lisps.
No, it does not have that sound in
Yeah, it's a different language.
in
completely.
the language at
so
all.
it
So
must be
Yeah.
a
they
speech
had
impediment.
to do.
Yeah.
They
It's a
had to
speech
add
impediment.
the th sound to that word because it's like the strong t is not in the language. I guess.
Yeah, it's a completely different
Barcelona.
language.
As you learned.
Yeah, I was just like,
So here's my final question for you. So after watching this thing on FIFA, which controls the World Cup and everything, and it does sound like at least they got rid of the other guy and they're going to try another guy. And it's, where do you want to see soccer though in like 30 years? Where would you like to see soccer? Do you want it to turn back being more recreational, or do you want it to keep going with it? I mean, or do you love it the way it is and keep going because you think, I don't know. Where do you see it in 30 years?
yeah, I mean,
For when your nephews maybe want to hear anything you have to say.
I guess there's two things. One is just as an American, I hope we're better at soccer and that
Yeah.
we're competitive. like, I feel like we're always on the cusp of almost being a good team, but we don't.
But we haven't quite
reach
accepted it yet.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I felt when I was doing the research, and I didn't understand why.
Like, we're.
Come on,
like,
don't you want to be part of the world's greatest sport?
Like, don't you want to be a real rebel and show up and dominate at
Dominate?
Yeah.
Like Captain America did in
And
Barcelona?
Come on, America. I thought we were number one.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
Show
Beat them
up.
at the world sport.
Show up.
Table one.
Table one.
Yeah, show up like he did, like Captain America did in Barcelona. Seriously.
So that's probably one thing that I would. That's just from like an American standpoint on soccer.
And then, but what about the little kiddos that you're still? After the rainbow waffles. Oh, rainbow waffles.
Yeah,
Rainbow waffles.
That was when I first started coaching. Now I coach my niece, and it's pretty fun to watch her just play soccer.
That's neat.
What's
She's
their
gonna
team
remember
name?
that forever.
They're just the Denver Kickers. They don't.
They're not. They're not.
We'll talk to Coach Steph and be like,
okay,
let's see if we can name this team. But
let's get.
They're young enough where they're not actually like on their own team. It's like 20 kids. They have like their practice.
They're doing
and then
their thing.
Game day is we split them up into little.
Yeah,
teams
they're getting used to it.
Yeah.
The rainbow waffles were
right. They were starting
team.
to. Were starting to compete.
They
were the real deal.
God.
We weren't very good, but we had a lot of fun.
Shout out to the Rainbow Waffers. If you guys are listening.
Found, which I thought was great when I was looking it up, is like, what great little teams for little kids to figure out how to work in a team, how to work with other people. And because some of the stories and stuff, I'm like, why haven't we embraced this more? Or why is it such a thing?
And that is one of the fun
hoping it will be.
Like, your teammates become like your best friends and stuff. And so I mean, at my wedding, I had soccer people there.
But also, doesn't it give you good building blocks for just everything in life?
Yeah. And it's like, you have to learn how to like communicate with people differently. You have to understand that like in a team, you have so many different personalities. Yeah. But in order to be successful,
that maybe
we
you
have
need to learn how to assist.
Yeah.
Right.
Not me. They can
work together.
Work together to give me the ball.
As Ella would say, assist.
But so it's nice, and it like helps you like learn how to, because everybody that plays soccer has different interests outside of soccer. So you're always talking to like different people, and you're like, what do you do? Like, that's weird.
Well, there you go. And I think my daughter, like I said, figured that out. What a great networking place. Yeah. I mean, she was, 4 and 5, and asked not to come back to the field. But do you use it for networking, or have? I mean,
I don't use it for networking, but it works out.
Do you see where people could? And,
I have a bunch of people that I can reach out to, because like they do certain whatever the occupation is during like their normal thing. So like it is really good in that. And then when you win together, it feels so good.
Oh yeah,
and like
brings you together.
Yeah. So,
and I think we as humans, we do need that feeling. We need that camaraderie feeling,
the connection.
You see a lot of people win on their own, but sometimes you don't get that reaction when you see a team win.
And it's cool that you got to make these connections across the world. Like you met people from literally all corners of the world, and it's cool that you got to play with them, and you probably still keep in touch with a lot of them, I imagine.
Yeah. It is harder now because I go to Facebook, and apparently the rest of the world uses Facebook a lot of the time.
That's okay. Smarge has never had a Facebook account, and I don't see me ever getting one now because I've gone so long without it.
Yeah.
And then we know my Instagram debacle. Sorry again, Teddy Swims. I was not stalking you. I'm sorry. I'm just still not allowed on social media. So
she's banned for a little while.
Don't you also feel like, okay, so you don't use Facebook, but those people you're still in touch with must be really important to you, because you're not using Facebook. You are staying in touch with them. You're inviting them to your wedding, to your big moments in your life.
Yeah.
And that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's one thing. Poppy G.
Yeah.
We text all the time about it. And like when he was in England, we were texting about it. Pretty funny stories. He called me yesterday, and my wife was like, "Who are you talking to?" And I was like,
I got to know.
Poppy G. She's like, "Oh, my stepdad." And there's 2 other people in the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, "He's also my friend."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Not just your
he's not, he's more than that.
Other role.
Yeah. He was my friend before he was my stepdad.
Yeah. Like we still text each other.
And Monk, he is at this point in life your most favorite person on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So I had to put that in there because you won't remember this, but favorite person on planet Earth.
Oh yeah,
So
by far.
So
But
how
it
did the
is a nice-
conversation go? You were just talking about soccer, and he'd been in England, or
No, we're talking about darts, but
Darts,
in
okay,
general,
in
yeah, we're talking
general.
about darts, golf, and soccer.
okay,
Like,
okay, we'll see. There,
but, like,
the
it's a nice-
trifecta.
yeah. But it's a pretty nice way to like get to know somebody and like talk about something.
Yeah.
And like
hey, did you
sometimes
see
you
what
want to
that
have
team
conversations
did, or-
and they don't have to be deep. You can just be like, oh, let's just watch soccer or hang out for a little bit and just like make jokes.
So it's
and it's
like-
a nice, easy way
It's
to
that
do
feeling
it.
of contact.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah,
like
dude,
totally intense.
not
but
everything has
we
to
are
be in
making-
depth, but you can still be with
Right.
people and still have a good
Right.
time.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you just want to hang out.
And talk about your passions.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
We
Full
love
circle.
everybody's stories, don't we? I love listening to them.
I do too. And
What is great for me, and I'm like sitting here going, we need to do this more with family members, because what a great thing for Monk and Little Al to listen to in like 10, 20, 30. Oh my God.
And you know, it's so cool. We've known this gentleman here now for over 15 years, and I've never heard that story you told this
Over
this
20
evening.
years.
This is
Over 20
Yeah.
years. Yeah,
And-
I've known you for over 20
Yeah.
years now. And
this
I've
is
never heard that
insane.
story that you crashed your car. That was
We are-
shocking, and that's what shaped your life, I feel like,
Yeah.
in a great way. And that's really
was
cool
a
that
wake-up.
today we finally get to sit down and talk about that and
Yeah.
hear that story. That's really beautiful.
Yes.
So
Second time soccer saved my life.
And I love
that's
it.
what Sparge says. We have
So
ordinary
beautiful.
people just going through life doing extraordinary things, and surviving extraordinary things, doing extraordinary things, winding up in a country where you thought you got the language a little
Yeah.
bit, and then to find they have a whole language all of their own. But I'm
whole
gonna keep,
different language.
I'm gonna go forward. I'm gonna keep going.
But you kept to it, and that's
I love
that's
it.
awesome.
We need to do more of this. So I love it.
Fun fact about Barcelona, their Independence Day is 9/11. That was very confusing for
No.
me because I walked out and everybody's like
fact.
on the streets with
Okay.
like flags
And you're like,
celebrating,
oh my
and I'm just like,
What?
this
Were
is
you
celebrated
yeah.
a little differently in my
So
country.
in that,
a little more somber
Yeah.
event.
and that's their
States.
independence. Oh, that's just unfortunate.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so I never
unfortunate,
forget,
but, oh my gosh,
their
yeah,
Independence
walking out
Day.
going, what?
Yeah.
So I think that brings us to 5 on the line. Mr. T, thank you so much for being on. I think we probably took up a little bit too much of your time this evening, but let's
But
wrap
hell,
it up
was
with
worth
some.
it. It was fun.
We had
Thank
some.
you.
We went through a roller coaster there. That was a tumble load we did there. So
And look
thank
at
you
how
for
bright
sharing
our
all
colors
that.
are. I feel like we have vivid colors.
We
and
did. We put
Our
some.
whites are whiter and our colors are brighter, and
Yeah, we had some bleach up in there somehow. Yeah, it was a nice. It was
I
a
love
nice
it.
load.
I'm glad you didn't say your blacks are blacker. That seems.
I do. You saw me go through that, didn't you?
Yeah, I was like, I was waiting for it.
Okay.
I mean, whites are whiter is still not
Yeah.
great, but
but
Yeah.
then I went on to say, and I'm like, yeah, I stopped myself. Do I get credit for stopping myself?
yeah.
You do. You do.
Smart
Our-
self-editing
Wait.
all the
Our-
time.
Before we do this,
All the-
can we
Yeah.
take a shot?
Yeah. See, he wants to do it before
Yeah.
shot. He's the guest.
We're gonna
Do it on the air
We're gonna do it on
because
the
you
air.
know I'm not going to say no on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final
And here's
final
the thing.
guess of the
I'll-
season.
we can-
Final
I'll
5 on the line. Shot time.
How about a little?
I knew you were going to do this
Yeah.
Is
somehow.
Patron okay?
Patron,
for you?
yeah.
Is that okay?
I guess.
Patron? Is that
Can we do just baby shots?
micro?
Yeah.
Infant shots.
Hat.
Because you know, Smarsh. I'm into the micro everything.
Penises.
No, I'm not. Smarge is not into micro penises,
I love how she had to get to the mic for that.
but I did mean like micro
Good news
does.
for Poppy
She
G.
has-
having fun and everything, because then you can like try a little bit of everything.
And she has a cute little micro fairy garden in her back window well, which is super cute, which has inspired me to make my own window well fairy garden. So I'm really excited to do that. Which, by the way, Mr. T, do you want to come over and help me clean out my window well this weekend?
No.
Please.
We are looking for people.
No, I just had an idea for Christmas. I'm going to get Smarge a micro penis shirt that's got like the do not enter sign on it.
You always come up with the best gifts over here, Mr. T. We were just talking.
And Smarge will wear it proudly.
Mr. T has
Micro penises here.
Mr. T has basically
Well, I didn't.
By-
I'm not
by
against
himself.
micro penises.
he
I
has
mean,
Wait.
not for micro penises.
Well, I don't want to say that either. Like, I don't like. What if there's a really nice guy with a micro penis? I don't want to be hurting anybody's feelings here.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Mr. T has solely
I think that
Decorated.
micro penis, their feelings have been hurt a lot already. So they're
But I don't want to add to that trauma?
Okay.
Whoops, sorry, Haas. We are still on the micro penis thing.
We're going to have to edit this a lot. Mr. T has solely handily
are okay.
decorated our downstairs podcast room, by the way. I wish you guys could see it. We'll post a photo on Instagram of all of his cute little knickknacks that he has gifted Smarge over the years. And
they've
literally
all made it in.
It's been like a shrine of Sammy that we just have
certain
here.
family members like come down and they're like, it's just everything he gave you
From Sammy.
Well, I
Mr. Mickey.
I listen to people, and I'm like, you might like this.
He's a great gift giver. That's definitely his love
Chris
language.
Stapleton, unfortunately, is just here visiting.
Yeah,
He is not. He is being here.
He may have been kidnapped.
Yeah, just not really. It's a ransom type
It's a
situation.
ransom.
That's
Money's
the
owed.
definition of kidnapping.
Is it? Oh,
With
okay.
ransom.
Ransom.
Kidnapping with ransom.
Yeah, there's not another time
money's
there's a ransom.
owed, and then you get it back when you pay the money. Is that ransom?
Yeah, you
okay.
can't
So maybe it is
willingly
ransom.
go and then get a ransom.
Anyway, money's owed. That's all I'm going to say, and I will give it back.
All right, let's take this quick shot before I regret it.
Okay. I am not going to do that.
What? No,
I'm not doing it.
You have to. It's 5 last one.
I will do it. I just need
Okay.
to find a class. I was
All right, you do
my
it,
God.
and then I'll
You did
do one
before.
later.
No, we gotta do it together.
No, here.
Do it together.
We got to do it together. We're in it together. Come on.
We hate micro penises. It's not a good chance.
Anti-micropenis.
Like we don't
Okay.
know.
We
Like,
just don't like micro penises.
No,
They're
I'm not-
fine if you have a good
I don't want to be
personality.
discriminatory to anybody.
If you have a bad personality, I'm making fun of that
Okay, let's
micro
go.
penis.
But if it's a good personality,
Yeah.
you're okay, I guess.
Let's go.
We
bring-
back.
Monk and Little Owl, it's okay if you don't like tequila. And if you don't like it, you probably never are going to like it.
This brings me back to one of our first few podcasts where we decided taking 3 tequila shots before we even started recording was a good idea. And it went
Marge
south.
hadn't had tequila since she was like 19.
Oh, it went south.
You look like you're sucking on a warhead right now. Just
Okay, I'm getting old now, Sammy. This isn't like
old as shit.
how we used to take shots.
Doesn't it? It just lingers.
I actually think one of my first shots, honestly, one of my first few shots was probably with Mr. T.
Oh.
And I remember I really wanted to impress them because he was with my older brother. And they were like, you guys want to try some alcohol? And I was like, yeah. And we had
you guys
one
want
shot.
to use alcohol.
And I remember taking like just,
drugs with each other.
Okay.
just
Don't be doing the drugs with each other.
the first shot and it goes down and I am
You're like-
immediately thinking that wasn't bad. So out loud I said, that wasn't so bad. And as I was saying it, it burns my esophagus. And I said, that wasn't so that wasn't so bad.
I was not impressed.
It was very awful. I'm pretty sure I got hammered off for one shot.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure you probably did.
I was
And
like-
shame on you, older brothers.
13.
What are we going to do with you guys?
We didn't want to hang out with her. She just wouldn't leave us
Whatever.
alone.
Yeah, that's probably the case. I was like, I want to hang out with them. They're cool and older.
Here's one way to stop
Yeah,
it.
we're like, we'll give her a shot.
We'll give
maybe.
her, and she'll be on the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be out for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Little sister won't.
And then I remember there was another
Curtis
time.
want to be with you guys?
What?
Did you let Curtis want? Did Curtis want to be with
No,
you guys?
Curtis is cool. He's
No,
doing
they
his own
liked
stuff.
to hang out with
Yeah,
Curtis. They didn't like to hang out with me. But there was one time,
sorry.
though, when they threw a party in my basement and it was all their friends. My mother comes down. My mother was home. She comes down, finds everybody. Sammy and my brother were hiding behind the couch and she blamed the whole party on me.
Pretty good
She
move.
was like, why are all your friends here? Why are you drinking? Like, you were grounded. And I was like, I don't even know these people, Mom. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't, this isn't my party. And she was like, I don't want to hear it. This is all your fault. And completely blamed me. My brother and Sammy are just cracking up behind the couch.
Have you had this discussion with Nana since? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is your
We
Nana.
talk about it all the time.
And did she say sorry?
No, she was
No,
like,
she just laughs about it. She's like, it was your fault, Brittany.
Oh,
she basically still blames
you two are
me.
terrible.
Yeah, it was
'Cause-
your fault. You threw the
because-
party. Yeah, sent it out on Facebook. We saw it.
What? I didn't even have a
that's-
Facebook then. I was 12.
MySpace.
It was my face.
It was my,
You sent
my,
it out to your 8 friends.
I meant
My face. No, it was space.
MySpace.
My,
Yeah.
Get off my face.
No, my mom like Mr. T could not do wrong in my mom's
I'm her
eyes.
favorite son.
She loved Mr. T. There was even one time when we were all smoking in the hot tub downstairs, me and a few friends, and we all had cigarettes. And she came downstairs. We gave every cigarette to Sammy. So he's smoking 3 cigarettes in his mouth. And she doesn't even bat an eye. She goes, "Oh, hey, Sammy, are those my cigarettes?" And he was like, "Yep." And she was like, "Okay, good night."
She used to always keep her cigarettes in the freezer.
In the freezer.
Yeah. It's like a mom move. My mom did that too.
Really? I
Yeah.
never smoked. So.
Yeah.
She only smoked when she was stressed, which was every day.
Yeah, a lot.
But it was a lot.
What does the freezer do? Is it just,
It just
make it
preserves
nicer?
Yeah, like
Should I be
pressure.
keeping my joints in the freezer?
No,
Probably
you go through
not.
them too quick.
She would smoke them like once a week.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
And
she's not
basically,
snoop-
I would be
okay.
like, "Hey, you want to go smoke a cigarette?" She's like, "Sure," and I'd be like, "All right, I'll go to the freezer and
she
get us
put 'em-
two."
Oh my gosh, I get it now. I get it now. It's like when I used to put my credit card in the freezer in a baggie of water. Like you want it to defrost
Nope.
before you use it, right?
not quite, but similar.
But you
I
don't
guess.
use it all the
No, she was
time.
just keeping it fresh
Yeah.
because she didn't.
Oh,
smoke
it's
all
just-
the time.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing like keeping that credit card in the freezer. Did you guys?
I
ever do that?
think it's time for 5 on the line. But no, I did not do that.
It's a great way to
5
make you
on
think
the
twice.
line.
I think we actually know the answer to this, but who was your favorite childhood pet?
My favorite childhood pet, Buddha.
That was your mom's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's the pug.
She probably the best thing is she. So we got Buddha. He's a pug.
Yeah.
She drove me to Nebraska to get him. I wanted a bulldog. She said no, they slobber a lot. And then I watched a music video and there's pugs in it. And I was like, that looks like a bulldog.
Yeah,
So,
close. It's a mini bulldog.
Yeah. So she's
Great
like,
choice.
fine, we'll get a pug.
How old were you?
Ooh, we got Buddha. I was probably maybe 10 when we first
So
got it.
impressionable years.
Yeah,
Okay.
10 or 11.
Okay. So you're with your dad?
You still had a dad.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank
Yeah.
you.
He was still there.
That's why I'm trying to
He
get
went
the
all
dad
over the world with
timeline.
us.
Trying to get the dad time.
But he got his name because one of the first puppy toys that we had was spelled Booda. And I was like, oh, Buddha. And he's fat. Like, this makes sense. Buddha. So my mom tried to be like, oh, we call him Buddha because we like all religions in this household. And she's like Muslim, Catholic, Buddha. And I was like, nope,
No,
it's because
it's
he's
the dog
fat.
toy.
Yeah,
and
it's because
it looks, it's a dog toy name, and he looks like Buddha, and he's fat.
Yeah, but Buddha is the best.
So here you go. So who was your role model growing up, and is it the same person today?
It's definitely not the same person. But growing up, it was my dad. We were best friends, and that was part of the
I'm
reason.
sorry,
why.
then. That's a huge loss.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over it.
I know you are. It's
but
like you're over
he's
his
not
death.
my role model now.
Yeah.
But when he was the dad and he was present, he was a very good dad. He was a good dad to my brother, to me. I played soccer because of him.
Almost like it's a mystery to you in a
and
way. Like, what
there's,
happened?
There's still lessons that like he teaches me, that he taught me, that I still do today. Like, I don't know if it's, I mean, just how he was raised, but like I never sit down on like a bus because that's reserved for like older people or
Pregnant women.
Pregnant, yeah. So even like if I'm like on the shuttle in DIA, like
So that's what we were talking about earlier. You still display this gentleman type quality of you, this whatever you call it, like man, whatever you want to name.
I mean, I think it's just called being a
chivalry.
good human.
I think it's
don't
humanity as well. But
Well, no,
going
because-
back to your first ex saying,
Yeah.
well, you don't have
Not
this
my
'cause-
first ex,
Or-
but
the only ex, the bad ex. No.
only one ex if my wife is listening to this.
Yeah, okay.
Way
Yeah,
better
gotcha.
than her.
Gotcha. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
But he still taught you
Yeah, no,
traits
you're like-
that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have
So
a
when
mean
he,
bone
what
in
I'm
his body,
getting
which is
at,
also kind of confusing.
what I'm getting at is when he was your dad.
Yeah.
He was your dad. He was present.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of times you have parents that are parents and they're parents for a long time, short time, but they're not really present for a lot of it. I have my moments where I regret not being more present. It sounds like your dad, when he was there, he
Was
embraced
there.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
He was a husband, a father.
He taught me how to
community,
respect people. He taught me
showing
how
you
to
like,
appreciate
hey, this is
things,
what you want to
but-
be as an adult and long term. Yeah. And
Right.
then showing you soccer and playing with you as a child.
And
he was
even
there.
like appreciation for soccer, the things you have in life. Like he's like, you're like, we played on dirt fields. We played with soccer.
That's right. Like, yeah, right.
Like
yeah.
those are things that still stick with me. Like, yeah, you have a bad day, but really is it a bad day?
still
It's
have a
not
soccer
really
ball.
that. Yeah, you
Right.
have a soccer ball. I used to have one in
Still
my
have a soccer
office.
ball.
Yeah. You might not have a job or a degree or a girlfriend or
You
a
got a
car.
soccer
I still got. I can go play 90 minutes and not worry
And
about
not
it.
worry
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what you don't have and
Yeah.
not concentrate on that.
Yeah.
Because a lot can happen in that 90 minutes and as Willie Nelson always says, a bad vibe, a bad thought can kill you. Like, we have to keep it positive.
Yeah.
Especially
And again, I think
in the worst
soccer
times.
was the first thing that helped me with my feelings towards my dad.
Like,
it's
cope with that.
Oh,
yeah,
work
it's the
through it.
first step that I was like, oh, I'm going to do this again for me.
Not for
And
him.
So, yeah, not
But
for
I
him.
also-
But it was like, but as you start growing older, you're mad. But then you start thinking about things like, oh, he did teach me good things. And he did teach me these
Well,
things.
you can appreciate. You're
Yes.
becoming an adult.
Yes.
You're
So
starting to look at life.
But that was the first step that I took that was like,
I think the first step actually was when you rejected soccer because that was the
Oh, yeah.
only control you had.
Right.
So in a way, rejecting soccer for those 3 years helped you as well. I mean, yeah, you were a shit and those were your teenage years and you were rebelling.
but you had to go through those years,
hell,
I think.
It lasted 3 years. For some of us, like I said, how many 37-year-olds are we still waiting for and hoping that maybe they'll get through it? You know,
Right.
I don't know. But you got through it in 3 years. And then, so in a way, I think
Yeah.
you started then, which
Yeah.
helped
like I
you
just said, it was,
in a
it wasn't just
backwards
losing
way.
a dad, it was like your best friend. So,
I
Right.
can't even imagine. So
and
who
it's
is-
annoying too because he's very charismatic and hilarious and everybody likes him. Like nobody has
you
a bad
are.
story about him too.
Just like
and
you.
It's just like,
But,
yeah.
you wish you had more like, oh, he was a terrible person,
but you don't.
No.
And
Well,
what's
he made
nice
his
is,
decision.
But what you've decided is you're not going to dwell on that bad part. And
Well, and
so
that's
you're not
what-
well, at the
seeding
end of
that.
the
You're not
day,
seeding
I look
the
at
bad.
it. I look at it like this: he's a human being, and he made a decision for whatever reason. I can't understand that.
Damn.
At this point, I've never been a dad. I've been married for a year. I don't understand the things that he was going through or why he made these decisions, but I
And
do
that's
understand he's a human, and people make decisions that they think is right at the time. Doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. They are just making a decision about what they think is best at that moment.
Right.
And sometimes I
And-
wonder about your dad if some of his decisions had to do with
But the other
where
thing
he was
is
from.
he has to
Lebanese. Did he feel like he was more restricted in what he could do
No,
or
I
where
don't
he
think.
could
I
go?
think he.
Or was he treated differently? I mean, I don't know.
No, I think, and also thinking about it is, he made those decisions. He has to live with them, right? So
It's not yours.
That's not my burden to carry.
Right.
And
Right.
You are right. And that's very
and
healthy
So it's
that you
It's not even worth like your train of thought to even imagine what he was going through because you'll never understand fully. And he's gone now,
you can try and
so
imagine, but it doesn't really.
it's never going to match up.
It's not. You can just make up stories. in your
Exactly.
head,
Right.
exactly.
And it does. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He made his decision, and then you live with that.
So when he went away from being your role model, who do you think, do you have a role model? Like who's your role model
Yeah.
today? Or who did you start to think, oh, I appreciate these values or this person makes me feel good or I don't know.
I guess the person I look up most to now is my brother.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I love it when I'm right.
Oh,
I knew it.
yeah.
Remember I was
He's a
right with
great
Dr. Kev,
role
too.
model.
Yeah, but
I
again,
love it.
my dad was a good dad to
just
my
my-
brother,
Right.
And so,
And you
there's
can say that.
yeah. And when my brother would get in trouble, he wasn't calling my mom; he was calling my dad for things. So,
Like, okay, so they had a great relationship
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So your dad had two good relationships
yeah,
with both of
and,
his sons.
and then also my sister, he was a
Right.
good stepdad. Like the
Oh, that's right. He was their step.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. He was.
yeah, so he had very good relationships with. That's why I said it's annoying. Everybody's like, "Oh, your dad was the best. He's hilarious," and I'm like, "Cool." Like,
Must be
yeah,
nice.
you got to hang out with him.
Damn.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
didn't- I get to
Wish I knew.
Yeah,
that,
wish I knew,
and-
but I
Damn.
mean, I did know because you can see things and you can see how somebody
you-
interacts with somebody, and you can tell.
But you also got one of the best gifts because obviously it was time he spent with you when it was really vulnerable, which is, what is it, age 3 or 4 is when it kind of shapes who you're going to become. Those are important years. So he gave you something.
yeah,
In those
Well,
years he was with you that was very positive. It doesn't make up for any of the other unexplained bullshit. But man, at least he gave you something when he was there.
Yeah, and the other thing that it gave me too is, I mean, me and my mom are always like close, but what made us closer. And we had to go against the world with just us two. So I now have a different relationship with my mom that I wouldn't have had before.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
That's a great thing to look at. And I also wonder kind of if that's what also gave you that extra oomph to get on that plane to Barcelona.
Oh, I think it definitely
You'd
did.
been in with your mom and you knew you could go with her and it was just you two against the world. And that worked out pretty well at this point in your mind. And then here you are, I'm going to be on my own. I'm going to prove myself.
Yeah. My mom's definitely the one that my dad too. He came to a different country and made a life. But my mom is definitely the one that like put belief in me that like, if you put your mind into something, you're going to get it done.
Right.
And,
that's a powerful message to give to a kid.
And that she was never talking about like parents on the sidelines. Neither one of my parents were ever like, oh, that was a bad game or whatever. They were just like, oh, did you have fun? Pass the ball. Like they were never
treating
like,
us like a child.
Pass to the other kids. Pass to the, that's what I'm getting yelled at. But they were never just like, it was never pressure from them to play, which made it
even
fun.
better.
Yeah, I was just having a good time.
Better.
Yeah.
Which even makes it more your passion, which is your 90 minutes, which a gift they gave you in a way you could look at it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's beautiful.
So your brother's now.
Yeah.
Your brother kind of slipped into that. Not slipped into. Your brother, like.
I mean, me and my brother are always close.
So it makes sense, though, if he was really close to your dad as well. And your dad leaves, and then your brother is how much older than you?
12 years.
So it kind of makes sense.
And he had to play the father role a little bit to an extent. Yeah.
And soccer was just as important to him,
he had
right?
to be like
he loves soccer as well.
What's unfair to my brother, I feel, is that he had to be like the pillar in our family for a long time.
Yeah.
Because
he was
he was in his mid 20s and stuff when my dad left. So not only did he...
Is he older than your sister?
No, my sister's the oldest.
Okay.
But,
I couldn't remember.
my sister has always been like all over the place kind of. So like she's part of the family, but she's not like always living with us.
Right.
Yeah, where my brother was
been very independent.
Yeah.
Very independent.
That's a good way.
Living her life. Yes. Yeah. And when I met her, I love her.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's awesome.
Incredible stories.
Yeah. But when my dad left, my brother had to take care of me. Sorry.
Right.
And then my mom too, because she lost the love of her life.
Right.
So he never got a chance. I mean, probably through his friends and stuff, but like he never got a chance to be like angry and show it towards us really.
Right. He had to be
he had to be the rock,
strong
for
face.
everybody.
He really was.
Which is sucks for him because
keeping it together because he was
also helped raise.
I was going to say he's suffering a loss as well. He's suffering the loss of his father as well.
Yeah, probably stronger than anyone could imagine. Like you had a strong relationship too, but he had 20 years with him, and you had 10. I mean, it's the same, just as hurtful no matter what. But
and it's somebody that was like at his high school graduation, took him up to college.
His memories.
Yeah,
this is his memories. This is his life.
Like that's somebody that was. Huge part of your life for a long time.
That's when it hurts.
Yeah.
When you lose that, because they're your witness.
Yeah. And
for
so
what you've done, what you're here.
I've always looked up to my brother for that, for having to deal with all that.
That's beautiful. And I think we could probably do a whole other podcast on this. I'm so sorry. I hate to move on from this very emotional and loving conversation.
But it's great. We love BJ.
We do. And
I talk a lot.
And I think you are the person you are today because of the things that happened to you. And I'm sorry the things that happened to you, but I think that you are the strong person you are today because of those things. So.
Yeah, I mean,
you made it good. Like some other people could go down the wrong road and just be angry.
You've turned your life around completely. So
anger. What's the
not a lot of anger. Life is good.
Yeah.
So I can play soccer for 90 minutes.
There you go.
Let's reminisce more on your childhood. But what was your favorite vacation growing up? This also could be as an adult. So if you want to touch on that.
Like we say favorite vacation, what comes to mind?
Favorite vacation? Okay.
Anytime.
I'll keep this one. I have a bunch of...
Old of 30 something.
I have a lot of good vacations, but one of my favorite to relate to this is when I turned 30 years old. I went to Manchester to go see Manchester United play with 3 of my friends. But I turned 29, kind of had a midlife crisis, and I was just like, whatever. I'm going to go see Manchester United play before I die. I'm going to do it for my 30th birthday. I'm coming by myself. If anybody wants to come, they can come.
Oh my gosh.
So turned 29 in October. In December, I bought round trip tickets to London to make sure that I was going to do this, and was just
Good
like,
for you. Like I am
I'm
following
doing
through.
this for my 30th birthday. I
Okay.
don't care. Anybody can come.
Good for
and then
you.
two of my friends,
Spenny
and JJ, were just like, yeah, we're in. And so they bought tickets in December. And then we get to like
And then Monk, I think your
June.
dad got involved.
Yeah,
at some
in
point,
like
Monk.
June,
We don't have a name for him yet. Monk Senior.
Haas's brother
Monk
was like,
Senior.
I'm in.
We'll just call him Monk Senior.
Or Haas's
Senior.
brother.
Yeah. Was like, I'm in. I'm coming with you. Again, we've been friends
Which-
for 20
Is this
plus
not
years.
a trip of a lifetime?
So we basically went
That's pretty cool.
London, Manchester, Glasgow, Dublin, Amsterdam, back to London. It was like 14 days, and it was and Spenny's birthday was during that time. Got to see Manchester United play. It was Monday night under the lights. It was raining. It was like perfect English.
That's awesome.
Soccer. It
Yeah.
was Manchester
Couldn't
United
have asked
versus
for more.
Arsenal.
Oh,
Like
Arsenal
like the
even?
biggest rivalry.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Like-
I know nothing about soccer as we've established, but I do know that's a big game.
Yeah, so it was a pretty cool time. So that was definitely one of my favorite trips of all time.
Little
That's unreal.
I was a little kid the night before going to the stadium.
Oh.
Woke up at like 8 a.m.
Couldn't
Went to
sleep.
the stadium with Spenny. We walked around it. Went back, got everybody else, and then went back to the game. Like it was.
Just so you
cool.
know, Bob,
Yeah, that's unreal.
this is how I first met your father. He called me from London to let me know that he was dating my daughter.
He did?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's also
so
the
funny.
first time I found out too, and I was like,
Really?
"How old is she?"
What?
Yeah, I was like, "Do we
He's
have
like-
a talk?" And
He's like, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to your mom now.
yeah.
He's in, and he,
It's across the world.
And it's across the world, and it's for. And then he did bring me back some two very adorable gifts. I should probably put it in here. He brought me back a great Amsterdam ashtray I use to this day, and like, oh my gosh, he knows me. Then
He was thoughtful.
he was very thoughtful, but that is how I met him on the phone.
And
he
your
let me
mom
know.
couldn't even drink legally in the U.S. I'm pretty
Oh
sure I
my
talked to her on the phone. I was like, if you were here, you could
That's
drink.
right.
Exactly.
I was like, if you were here, you could drink. And then she's like, oh,
I can't
October
even drink
11th, I'll be. And I was like, so when I met her, she was actually 21.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But just a little side note for you, Monk.
and
That
also, she
is
was on time to
hilarious.
pick us up from the airport.
I don't
and
want to
somebody
hear it.
else was
I don't
not
want to
on
hear
time.
it. I tried, okay? You guys got in early. You guys got in
He
early.
got coffee. He left
my
immediately. We're just
Oh,
standing there
that's
for like
funny.
40 minutes. Like
You
oh.
were not waiting for 40 minutes.
It felt like
I
3
got
days.
you for, it was like 20 minutes after. They landed and got through customs in like 2 minutes, and I was still on my way. I still picked you up.
That's funny.
Don't listen to Mama J about pickup times. I asked her, what time do you think I should leave to pick them up from the airport? Oh, wait for like an hour and a half at least after they land.
Because of customs, I would think.
Yeah. They rushed.
But they
through
just
customs. Anyway.
ran through.
And then of course your daughter's there, yeah, with coffee and
Yeah,
flowers or something.
Yeah, a
And I was
banner.
like, what the hell?
Well, appearances
string
make a difference
orchestra.
some days.
She showed up and I was like, oh, hey guys.
Kyle's like, see you later, losers.
Well, I probably want to say she got that from me, okay?
All right, let's just say, all right.
That number
So,
4?
okay, so what is your next? So, here's another question. So, that's the great vacation, which is wonderful. So, what's the one vacation that comes to mind that it just fell apart? Like, no matter what you did, you just couldn't get back to it. Was bad from the beginning and it just got worse with any effort made. I mean, all effort made or no effort. Just damn. Let's just go home. Let's just pack it in. Please don't say it was a trip to Cabo with me.
No. I'm trying to think because I can't just like think of a bad vacation because I feel like
Like when you're on vacation, you're fortunate.
well, not even that you're fortunate.
but
When
with-
things go wrong, it's just like, oh, that's hilarious. Like,
But, like,
of course
yeah.
that's gonna happen.
But
Like,
that's hilarious.
Why
You have,
wouldn't
like-
that happen?
Like you have nothing to stay, like no tent.
It's
no
a good
hotel,
story if
nothing
it
to
goes
stay
wrong.
yeah,
in,
like
or-
I like stories. If it goes wrong, you just have
okay.
a
So
story.
you just
Like
have
I
a
never.
story, but like show
like-
up without the tent, show up without a hotel.
I mean, I had a
reservation?
camp one day without a tent. Like I don't know. So I'm trying to think.
But maybe not. And you can say no.
I mean, I've definitely had like shitty experiences.
How about shitty VRBO experiences? Because we don't know if those are going to be still going on in 30
Okay,
years.
but so
This rate, not
so this
probably,
happened
or
on the-
Airbnb or whatever you want to call it.
This happened on the trip to Amsterdam. 24 hours before we were supposed to land in Amsterdam, the VRBO canceled.
Oh, yeah.
our stay.
On you guys flying
yeah.
to another.
Yeah,
so
they were going
we're
to stay in a...
Yeah, we're in Dublin.
Oh,
we're going to
jeez.
Amsterdam. They send us an email like, "Hey, it flooded.
It blew up. Or it
Like
just-
it flooded.
Okay.
We can't stay there." And so we're like we're literally
Like-
waking up tomorrow to be there.
Right.
So we end up in Amsterdam and we don't have like a place to stay, and we end up booking a houseboat on like the river of Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Like a
ended
Yeah,
up
one of
probably
the-
being way
Yeah,
cooler.
it's way
I have
cooler.
always wanted to do that. Was it like
So,
one of those long
yeah,
boats?
yeah,
They have like all
like,
the little garden in the front and
Yeah,
everything.
and like literally
please
on
feed
the, river.
cat.
That's where we stayed.
Oh
it was
my
a cool
gosh, I've
houseboat.
always wanted to do that.
So then when we're in Amsterdam and we're talking to people
Yeah.
and we're talking to locals and
Yeah.
like one of my friends,
So cool.
brother-in-law, he's Dutch. Like we're talking to them, they're like, "How did you guys get a houseboat? It's actually illegal to rent those to people."
No
And
way.
we're like, we didn't plan it. We just got ours canceled, and then that was the next thing we could book. So you're not supposed to stay in those. Like those are normally like people's houses.
No way.
So we just ended up being lucky. So like that's like.
That's
it was a
so
shitty
cool.
experience at the time.
But
it
such
turned
a
to
cool
something- yeah,
story.
like, but like the 12 hours before, we're just like, oh fuck, we don't have anywhere to stay in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like, oh, you'll figure it out. Like,
But that's what makes the best
yeah, but
stories.
like, and
you know?
now you're like, oh, got a houseboat.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's cool. So
it all
like,
worked out.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
we'll
like,
ask
it's
this-
how you
awesome.
turn
Maybe
your
we'll ask
situations
this
into-
question after a couple kids or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? That's when they go a little bit more downhill,
Yeah, I
probably.
mean, I'll just give them up.
yeah,
Do you
just
wanna-
abandon them.
What was the worst vacation? Oh, when I had to give pencil up.
when I decided on a United
Yeah.
airline flight that Pencil and I were no
Yeah.
longer, and I just walked off.
I was over it. I just had to
Yeah.
abandon that
Yeah,
family right
so
there.
That was a pretty bad one. Have me on in 10 years and I got a good answer for you.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
All right, our last and final question for you, Mr. T. What was the last song that you listened to?
Last song, I don't know.
Like on a playlist or on the way over, or was it a Garth Brooks song on your
No
CD
pressure
in your,
and no
do
judgment.
wait, do you still have that Ford?
Yeah, I have that Ford Fusion.
Oh my gosh. And he has a CD player. I
It
love
was-
his car. Like he's not allowed to get rid of the car until he talks to me first.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because
It's
it
a
has
good car.
a CD player. And then, won't we want that for our house, for our family property? We could just drive it from like little campsite to campsite.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks with the CD player.
Only if we lift it and take the doors off.
Okay, let's do it.
Which is a Ford Fusion
Please,
that's
yes.
lifted like 3 feet with no doors.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
And a CD player.
And a CD player. What more could you ask?
Nothing.
Nothing. And then we could just, do you see it? And you could just drive it from campsite to campsite. It could help us like get our.
It's also
because
a
we're-
hybrid, so you
Yeah,
know.
right. And then
Perfect.
Because we're going to have the family lodge, right? Which is going to have an ice maker and everything. So you're going to take trips there to get ice.
Yeah.
Campsite or whatever.
Yeah.
So what a great thing to transport it in. We got to keep that car.
Yeah.
I was listening to Childish Gambino. I accidentally changed the song, so I think it was called Talk My Shit, but he just had a new CD come out. And
Okay.
Who is it?
Childish Gambino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Donald Glover. He's a comedian.
Okay. I
And
know.
also
him.
is
Yeah,
a
it's the
musician.
same person.
He's a director.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
one of the most
He just
talented
goes by
people.
another name?
Yeah.
His rap name is Childish Gambino.
He's coming to Denver,
yeah,
actually.
he's
Isn't
incredible.
he in relation to
He is good.
the actor Glover? He was in all
Donald
those-
Glover, Lethal Weapon. No.
Okay.
They're
I'm
both
just-
black.
Okay. Just curious.
Good question.
Yeah.
Valid question.
Oh my God. Did you guys see the commercial?
Wait, no, let's wrap it up real quick. And then,
Somebody, no, it's not somebody. It's a like a vitamin that you want to, like you get it at the vitamin store or whatever. It's like getting older. It's for joints and stuff. And you won't believe who the spokesperson is.
Shaq.
It's the skateboard guy.
Tony Hawk?
Yes.
Tony Hawkin?
Now I know what he or Hawks or Hawken or I don't know. Now I know what he looks
Now
like.
you know.
But he,
Very different.
like it's one of what's that big vitamin like
Viagra.
no the big vitamin like GNC.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a commercial for them and he's advertising joint stuff and he's like, I'm Tony Hawkins or
Hawk, yeah.
Hawk. And they're like, oh my God, that's him. That's who I've been. He's not the guy.
Not
in the
guy.
wheelchair.
No.
Nor the guy that was at the concert last year.
Not the guy.
But he's the one guy.
That's a joke for our very avid listeners. So take a peek at one of our
anyway,
All
first
5
seasons.
of you.
all five of you, you can delete that. Or
Our
you can make fun
family.
of that. Or
Our
you can do
families.
whatever with it. But he's making commercials now.
That's amazing. That actually doesn't surprise me. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. T,
Thank
for
you.
being on. That was
was
such an
fun.
amazing adventure you took us
And
on.
I hope
Sorry,
I
it's a
hope
little
this
longer
will
than
be
normal.
no. I hope
all
this
right.
will be
It was
Monk
lovely.
and Little Al's favorite episode.
It was probably mine. It was a good one.
We need to do more of this with family. We need to get him talking.
I agree.
Mr.
That was
T.
so wonderful.
Hey, you have a job ahead of you, getting more family members on.
Yeah, you got to recruit. You have some more talent to recruit.
I hated that.
Recruiter.
Hidden talent.
How do you guys say bye on this?
Well, we don't usually, other than we say, we're gonna,
We'll see you next time.
or like,
I think we need to
here is
A cool sign off.
Yeah,
like
cool
here's a
sign off. Let's
complete
figure-
wash. Yeah, like what
And
is
if
it,
your
like-
laundry ain't dirty enough, throw it in again.
or
No.
no, if it doesn't, or no, or like.
But I like it. Throw it out.
Like, what about like folded and put away or put away dry?
Hold it, fold it, and suck it up.
Or fold or hung? We're going to get it. At some
No, it's
point.
getting there. I like where
Fold,
it's
yeah.
going.
Fold it up, hang it up, fold and hang. Or what do they say? Like, there's that horrible saying that they say about some women, like, oh my God, she was rode hard and put away wet.
No, I've never heard that.
Oh, you
right.
have it. Okay. Well, this is the old man that you love. Remember?
God.
Remember the
We
other
might
day,
need-
Sammy, when I go, well, that's better than being paid with 100 pennies and a jar of honey. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about?
All right, we'll workshop it offline. How about that? And we'll get it.
no,
We'll get
I
it for
want-
next season.
Everybody say one thing right now as their sign off, but it's got to be laundry related.
Okay. So it has to be like a...
Grab your socks because they're gonna go missing soon.
Oh, I got it.
That is
What is that
strangely
one?
creepy.
What's that one sock saying that we had? Remember we made those things for the antique booth that said that you
Socks and cocks, no micro penises.
It was for the missing socks, like
Missing.
It was clean, single, and looking.
Yeah.
And then you would hang your sock there. But I can't say that because I'm married. So
Okay, so then what are you gonna say?
I don't know. I'm thinking this out.
All right,
How about
you're sticking with the socks.
Smarge is? Oh, I got it. Smarge is folding out.
Oh.
We're folding out. Okay, I like that.
Smarge is folding out.
All right, but wash is over. That's mine.
All right, I'll say.
Yep, Smarge.
Put me on the line. I'm ready to dry.
There you go. Put me on the line. Ready to dry.
And with that, folks,
Yeah.
put us on the line.
Yep.
We're ready to dry.
I love it.
Folding out.
Folding out.
Hey, before we wrap up this spin cycle, Haas and I would like to give a quick shout out to those listeners who may be famous. We really do adore you, and even though you do not qualify as an NTRG, not the real guest, we would always love to hear from you. This is Smarge and Haas, keeping it sorted, keeping it real, from the family laundry room. Be safe, stay even, and remember, when in doubt, go half.
Thank you for listening to Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions. Follow us on Instagram at Dirty Laundry Clean Confessions. And if you would like to be the next Not the Real Guest, please email us at dirtylaundrycleanconfessions@gmail.com. We would love to air out the dirty laundry with you. A DLCC disclaimer. In this live pre-recorded episode of DLCC, Not the Real Names, NTRN, have been used to protect the guilty and a few of the innocent.